All right, what is good, everybody? Welcome to the Radar Show. This is one of our new shows with B. Lee, Travis, and King John. Travis going to be a little bit, not Travis, John's going to be a little bit late today. But this show, we always debate specific topics. Each of us takes turn debating whatever we bring up. So today, we're going to debate who had the biggest meltdown in playoff history. But first, we're going to start with our where do we rate Kobe and just follow up on all NBA news. So, Travis, you want to start where you rate Kobe at all time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This was a question that was the previous winner, Lauren Ames, shout out, um, asked us to discuss this week because she won the trivia answer. So, also, before we start discussing it, we will ask our trivia question so that you guys can think about it. Whoever gets it, obviously, you get to pick the topic next week. It is Brandon who has the question today. So, give it to him, Billy. Okay.
So the question today is which NBA team drafted two players within a 3-year span that both went on to win a regular season MVP and an NBA title? Who was that team? And name those players.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Travis.
Wow.
Do you know who these players are? Any idea?
What NBA team drafted two within a 3 year? Within a 3 year span, they went on to win. That's a good one. Within a 3 year span, huh? Right in the season NBA and NBA title. I didn't think about that one, man. Offhand, I don't got that, but I don't want to say it, even if I did, and
Yeah,
spoil.
well, if you know it, just send it in the chat. I mean, the private
Oh
chat.
yeah, I
In the
will.
private
Hopefully,
chat.
figure it out. But anyway, think about that, guys. It'll be up here on the screen for you. So whoever gets that gets to pick the topic and next week. So we'll think about that. But as for the Kobe thing, I've always said Kobe's a top 10 player to me. I mean, I have him usually between 9 and 10, just because I don't think you can realistically leave him off of that list because his resume just stacks up with any. I mean, not really like the top, five players, but he has a better resume than people you leave it off. I mean, I don't think it's unrealistic to put him in top 10. I mean, but he has like the second most all defensive selections. He has an MVP. He has two Finals MVPs. He has the five ring count. He has the stats, the totals. He has the peak and prime. I just think that really the only thing for me missing him is like he wasn't really analytically dominant because I think maybe he was a tad bit overrated defensively. But other than that, especially like the area that he played, the era that he played in, I don't think you can realistically put him outside the top 10. I mean, unless you have some kind of a whack criteria.
Yeah, it's so hard to rate Kobe because he's such a good player, and when you see him, you know that the players you're rating above him is not a better basketball player than him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a better basketball player than Larry Bird, but it's hard to rank Kobe above Larry Bird for what he did in his career. It's just hard to do that.
Was he better than Larry Bird?
Yeah, he's definitely a better
Was
basketball
he?
player
Like
than
how so?
Larry Bird.
Like peak scorer?
I mean, it's just basketball, period. Just
I
the
mean,
way
Larry's
he
a better
approached the
rebounder, a
game.
better passer, better
Better.
defensively, arguably.
Larry Bird's better defensively than
Well, not better
Kobe.
defensively, but like
I mean,
Larry Bird was definitely a better shooter,
he's a better shooter.
better rebounder, better passer, had more of a team impact, he had more MVPs, more final, just some
No, I'm just
finals.
saying, like his career, like Bird is better his career, but as a basketball player, offensively, defensively, a better two-way player. Like you could say that Kobe's a better basketball player, but when you look at their careers objectively, you cannot say he had a better. He's a better player than Kobe. Like it's hard. Like Magic Johnson, I believe Kobe may be a better basketball player than Magic Johnson, but what he did in his career, how he approached the game, you have to put Magic above Kobe. You have to. Most people put Larry Bird above Kobe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
just
one of
like
those players.
yeah, it's just like people who put Hakeem above Shaq. Shaq is a more dominant force than Hakeem Olajuwon, but Hakeem was a better player.
Well, I mean, with the Hakeem thing, we can measure why he was better because, like, you can measure like how his team improved defensively when he was on the court as opposed to off of it. Like, he has the DPOIs, he had better defensive accolades than Shaq. I'd argue he was way better in the playoffs than Shaq the majority of his career. I mean, maybe Shaq had 2 or 3 years where he was far better, but I mean, he would just get a rebounder, better shot blocker than Shaq, way better at steals. Shaq was probably a better overall scorer than Hakeem, but I mean, I would take Hakeem Olajuwon over Shaq any day of the week.
Yeah, like I said, it's hard to rate Kobe. Like Kobe's literally the third greatest player I ever seen play basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
He's the
I have him.
third
I
greatest
have
I
him as
seen play
10.
basketball.
I have him top 10. I don't think anyone like it. Just for me, it's just like yeah, he was yeah. I mean, besides obviously LeBron, he was the best player I've ever seen. Like that I got to watch consistently. Obviously, Jokic is coming up there, but Kobe is he was definitely a more polished scorer than almost anyone on the top 10 list. If we're just using it that way too, as
Yeah,
effective, maybe not, but Kobe is tough to rank. You're right. I mean,
he's
I
tough to rate.
he has the All NBAs, he has the All Defensive accolades. Like his accolades are there, you know. So it's tough to say.
Yeah, what's good, everybody in the chat? Yeah, it's so hard to rate him because he's top 10, but he's out. He's definitely outside of the top five.
Hmm.
He's definitely outside of the top five.
Yeah, like the people I have above Kobe, I have Mike, LeBron, Kareem, Tim, Hakeem, uh, Larry Magic, Shaq. I have above him, and then I'd put probably Steph Curry. There's like nine. Kobe.
You have Steph above Kobe?
I do.
Yeah.
I know that's a tough sell, but
All right. Can you give us an explanation why LeBron is greater and better than Kobe? Well, I
that's
could
easy.
easily explain that.
You go first. I'll do second.
I mean, if you look at what they did head to head, it's going to be like LeBron. I think I got a graph of like this explaining everything. Let me see if I still have it here. What is this? Is this it? Yeah. All right, hold on. All right. So probably hard to see. That sucks. But when you look at the advanced stats, even though most of it is team stats, there's not one advanced stat that Kobe Bryant is above LeBron in. Like let's just put it there. Like advanced stats is every advanced stats is going to be LeBron
Hmm.
James. When you go to offense, averages, totals, whatever you want to put, the only thing Kobe has on LeBron is free throw percentage. Like that's the only thing Kobe does better than LeBron offensively.
Hmm.
When you go to defense, totals and averages, every defensive metric you can use, LeBron is ahead of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Every single one. Then when you go to accolades, of course, it's LeBron. LeBron has almost double the NBA awards. When they play head to head, they play 22 games together. LeBron run majority of the time. LeBron numbers are significantly better than Kobe Bryant's. Like they're playing head to head, and that's like no hate on Kobe Bryant. It's just LeBron James just outplayed him. And when they were teammates, if you look at the stats while they were teammates in the FIBA and both Olympics, LeBron James significantly outplayed Kobe Bryant statistically. So it's kind of hard to say that Kobe Bryant is ahead of LeBron James when you look at their career. I'm not sure, other than using the eye test of what you prefer. That's the only way I think that you could say Kobe Bryant is above LeBron James.
No, I completely agree, man. I mean, like at some point, like this is why it's so important to have a criteria. If you have no criteria and you're just a Kobe Bryant fan, that's fine. But just don't presume to start ranking players because we're going to laugh at you. Like, at some point, when you're looking at Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, like Kobe Bryant is my second favorite player of all time behind James Worthy. But I like Kobe because of what he did, and I'm not going to overrate him. Kobe Bryant was a polished scorer. He shot league average percentage, especially he had played obviously maybe the toughest defense player of all time. And he was good at what he did. He honed his craft. He had probably the best footwork in league history. He mastered a bunch of offensive skill set. He was fantastic. But when you compare him to a player that was transcendent like LeBron, and especially when every single stat and analytic points to the other player and the overall resume, like what's your argument that he's better?
And
Like
the head to
besides
head.
just yeah, and like what's your argument that he's better besides just nostalgia? Like he's my favorite player, Kobe, or he's second. LeBron isn't, but I'm not going to be biased enough to say that Kobe ranks higher than him because there's no way to make that case at all.
Yeah, and yeah, I know what you talk about, Blue Gold. I mean, Kobe played on a lot of super teams early in his career, later in his career. He played with three first ballot Hall of Famers, and then he did have a team with Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Ron Artest on the team as well. So
Kobe had the I'd
yeah,
say
Kobe
Kobe had
had some
probably
pretty good teams.
Kobe had like the third or fourth best help in NBA history behind like Magic Johnson and Kareem, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like,
mean,
who else
I
plays
know.
with top? Who else plays with another top five or top 10 player in league history for like the majority of their prime? I mean, and that's not a knock on Kobe. Like I said, his resume stacks up. But I think the real argument is like, who would you have above him besides the obvious? And like, if you don't have him top 10, who would you replace him with? Like, I think that's a harder argument than something like, why is LeBron over him? Like, that's LeBron is top three at worst. At worst. Like, there's no way you can put Kobe even top five.
I mean, there's just so much. I was having this argument with somebody at my job. They were saying like LeBron can't be the GOAT, how he's the GOAT and all this other stuff. And Kobe, he's not even above Kobe. I like, tell me why he's not above Kobe. Well, the reason was just because he's not. He hasn't did what Kobe's done. Kobe got 5 titles. I'm
The
like,
dumbest
okay.
argument.
I mean, it's a dumb argument. So I just asked him, like, do you think Robert Horry's better than Kobe Bryant?
Of
He's like,
course.
why would I say Robert Horry? Like, okay, like, so stop saying one title makes them better. Like, there's other things than winning NBA titles that make you great. LeBron James won a lot of titles as
Hmm.
well. Like, people think he just never won anything. I think that's the problem. Like this narrative going around that LeBron James never win or cannot win. So that's what people believe. That's what goes around. I know they're trying to tell Blue Bolt to stop asking about Kobe, so we stop talking about him compared to LeBron. I know
No,
Blue.
no censorship here,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah. He don't believe that Kobe's better than LeBron. He just wanted to see what we'll say. But
Yeah, yeah. Cause nobody's saying Kobe. Nobody's saying Kobe's a bum,
yeah,
guys.
I mean he's a top 10 player. Like
He's a top 10 player. That's the rarefied air.
he's literally most people like he's mostly like 5 of the top like the best top 5 players that people have seen who watch basketball. Like that's how good Kobe
Hmm.
is. A lot of
Yep.
them have him 2 or 3. Like Kobe's a really great
Hmm.
basketball player. Like he's really great.
Kobe was the best, basically, of his generation, except for like you can argue Tim Duncan
Yeah.
had a better career, right? Like,
Like my second favorite player is Vince Carter. I would never say that Vince was better than Kobe. Vince has never been better than Kobe. He's just because he's my favorite player, don't mean that I'm just gonna make up stuff about him. Like Vince Carter, that's my guy, but he's never was better than Kobe.
yeah, no, for
Every
sure.
time they played, Kobe outplayed him, but like once or twice. Like Kobe just played hard. I mean, Kobe is just a different animal.
Yeah.
Like I was having this argument with my brother about my favorite player all the time is Penny Hardaway, and he think Penny would like come in the league and kill. Now, like
He might, dude.
I told him that like Penny was great, But
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is a better basketball player than Penny Hardaway. Like, I'm sorry to say that, but Jason Tatum is a better basketball player than my favorite player of all time. And I don't think Jason Tatum is not in my top 10. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just different. Like, let's keep players in their era, just like LeBron said earlier. Let's just keep those players in their era. Like, Penny was great in the '90s. Let's
Yeah.
not try to say that he's going to come in
I
here
mean,
and
it's fun to conjecture and things like
it's
that. I
fun,
mean, it's,
but
you know,
yeah,
I mean, it's face of the league. I mean, T Mac is my guy. T Mac's like my third or fourth pick whenever I play 2K because he's just a monster. Like 04 T Mac was ridiculous. I think Kobe was better than him defensively and was just as good as a scorer. But T Mac could do some crazy things. I think T Mac is an underrated player. He was fun. Uh, I think I think '03 Kobe was the first year that he really truly. Oh, maybe '02, end of '02, but really '03 Kobe was really what he hit his like absolute prime. He started going from there. But yeah, I mean it's like I said. I think the better challenge would be to say if we have Kobe as a top 10 player, what player do you think? And obviously we have the usuals, right? What player do you guys think is being snubbed or could replace him? I think that's a way better conversation.
let me put this trivia question back up.
Yeah, I still don't know which NBA team drafted two players. Were they Finals MVPs or no?
Regular season MVP. I'm not putting everything up there so people easily get it, but these are the two vague ones that I could
Oh,
add.
I know who it was. No,
Oh,
wait,
okay.
shit, I might be wrong.
Has anybody in the chat got it? I don't think no one in the chat got it yet. I don't think they sent anything.
So, guys, this is a way tougher question than last week. So check it out. If
Yeah.
anyone gets that, they get to pick either what they want us to talk about, or they can probably get to call one of us out to debate them. So,
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone listed in the chat.
mm-hmm.
If Johnny probably knows because I actually talked about this a few times before, but I guess you probably don't remember.
I have like
Travis.
two ideas. I'm just trying to think of it though. Hmm. That's a good question, though. Very good question. But yeah, oh wow, that's a crazy one. But yeah, let us know what you got. I mean, okay, so Jason Jackson, Kobe is top 15. What players would you have ahead of him? Like, I want to know that. Like,
I mean, what's the five players in front of him?
yeah, who's in front of him?
Well,
Yeah, like, even if you think he's overrated, right? Like, what is your criteria? You have to consider his, what, 12 all defensive selections. You have to consider his all NBA, his MVP, his two MVPs. He has one of the better averages of all time, especially in his prime. Like he has some of the better scoring accolades.
I mean, like Kobe averaged 25, 5, and 5. There's only six other players who've done that. So
Yeah,
what Kobe,
and that's
I mean,
factoring in like his last 3 years where he was injury riddled, right?
yeah,
So
like what Kobe did is like his 3,000 points. Like he has the most points, assists, and rebounds for a shooting guard. Like the guy had a crazy, amazing career, and I think a lot of people try to downgrade his career because of MVPs. Like you
yeah,
can't put someone top 10 with only one regular season MVP, but MVP is not voted on who's the best player.
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah. Like defensive player of the year is not voting on who's the best defensive player. If that's the case, Hakeem Olajuwon should have 10. So that's just
presumably.
not the thing. Like that's just not the thing. Like it's a narrative why you win MVP or defensive player of the year.
Well, obviously, we're going to see it this year when Jokic gets robbed.
Robbed of what, the MVP?
Oh hell
Yeah,
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 dude.
yeah. I mean, he had probably the greatest regular season of all time,
Hmm.
or at least in the top five. If it's not the greatest, it's top five, and he's not going to win MVP, and we all know why.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's again, it's a narrative. Everybody says 11 to 15 all time. If you consider resume, again, like if you have him at 15, 11, I'm not mad at because you can make an argument for some players, but who do you have above him if you're considering their resume, quote unquote?
I mean, like I don't have Hakeem above. I don't even have Hakeem in my top 10, so I definitely have him above Kobe. I think Kobe's resume is better than Hakeem Olajuwon's, but majority of people have Hakeem above Kobe.
See, I have Hakeem above Kobe just because I think he was like you can argue with way more impactful to every team he was on. I mean, he has an DPOYs, like he has an MVP, he has the accolade. I mean, but I just like to me, it's like he has way better metrics than Kobe, but Kobe he was very consistent. But Kobe couldn't make the team if I was putting together 50
I mean,
man.
what other shooting guard would you put above Kobe though? If you're making a 15-man roster, you have to have 2 shooting guards at least.
Yeah.
Like what other shooting guard, Frederick, are you putting above Kobe? Yeah, and then let me see. Lamont says the MVPs.
I already have Curry above him, so Jokic, I think will be top 10 when his season or when his career ends. I'm not ready to rank him yet.
I mean, I give Jokic 2 more years of playing at this level. He will be top 10. 2 more years. I don't think you could keep him out if he do this for 2 more years.
Yeah. Who's not better? Rapkin said he's not better than Mitch Richmond.
Oh,
I think it's been Booker.
I think he's talking about somebody else, maybe Klay Thompson or somebody. Yeah, it's hard with the MVP thing because Steve Nash is not better than Kobe. He won 2 MVPs, so it's kind of hard to. I know he's talking about the resume. I know he meant the resume. What other players have 2 Finals MVPs and an MVP and a regular season MVP? It's not many of them.
No, and also, I mean, it's like when you look at like some of the things I think like go unnoticed and like why Kobe's such a huge fan. It's like when you look at obviously he had Shaq, but if you look at
all right, Lamont is just trolling at the moment. He said you could make a case for Russell Westbrook over Kobe. He's just trolling at the moment.
That is crazy in a sense. Yeah, that is crazy.
All right, so let's. So who has a regular season MVP and 2 Finals MVP? So
not Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, so it's Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon,
Kevin Durant. Yeah. Shaq.
That's 10.
But that's. I mean, are we counting? Well, obviously we're not counting. Who else does that? That's really it, right?
Yeah. So look at the resume. Kobe's resume is amazing.
Okay, so Frederick, what shooting guard for their career is shooting better than 40% from 3? And as a volume shooter.
Like for a season or for a career?
Well, it would just be a career, right? You could cherry pick the best seasons.
I don't think nobody is. I don't think Ray Allen shoots 40% from the 3-point line.
See, nobody. I mean, it's like for their career. I mean, whoever cherry picking the best shooting seasons, then I mean, I wouldn't really take anyone. I mean, shooting guard wise, or what are you taking? Like,
unless you count Steph Curry as a shooting guard.
No, I mean, you're taking like maybe James, like 2016 or 17 Harden, or like I don't know, like 90 Mike or something, or 91, something like that. I mean, it really depends. Like if you're 15-man roster, but you don't have Kobe, and you have 2 other shooting guards ahead of him, I would have to see your logic. But again,
I mean, Steph. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you may put Klay Thompson in there if you're not trying to get the best shooting guard.
Yeah.
I mean, Klay won't hurt you at all. He plays defense and knock down wide open shots. But if you're talking about the better player, I mean, if you're not trying to get the best player, you're just putting together a good roster, and you don't want the best players. Yeah, but it's pretty obvious that Kobe Bryant can play with great players, like he
Yeah,
did on the Olympic team, and have a very important role.
I think if I wanted just somebody to get a bucket, and especially if it was today, I wouldn't have any. I mean, I would love to have Kobe on my team. He would definitely shoot better than 44% from the field, and he would
Yeah,
probably be a better three-point shooter.
of course you're gonna shoot higher when you play
Yeah.
with better players.
Well, yeah, and
That's a
like
gimme.
the defense, like would be absolutely horrendous today compared to what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah. Also, the pace of play be way higher. I mean, I think Kobe would shoot. I mean, I don't think he would have, be like the guy who was in '06, but he would definitely be fit right in. But I mean, the top 15 players. I'm still waiting for a list from somebody who, if you're trying to discredit Kobe, I don't think there's any lower. I mean, I'd have to see your list and like what your criteria is if you're trying to put 14 other players above Kobe. But to me, he's top 10.
Okay, so what do you think the five players in the bottom of the 15 who you put above Kobe Bryant? I guess people would say Dr. J. Some people move Larry Bird outside the top 10 now.
I mean, if you can maybe, I mean, if you really want to nitpick, I mean, what are you going to argue? Like Elgin Baylor, like
Mm-mm.
David Robinson.
I don't think nobody
Like,
put
what
David
would you
Robinson.
do? Carl Malone.
Okay, let's put 15 players. So you got LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kareem, Magic, Tim Duncan. Like those is a lot of people's top five. Then you
Mm-hmm.
got Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. People have King and Shaq. So that's 9.
I mean, I would put. I mean, I still have. I mean, even if you don't want to put Steph there, you can
Okay,
put
so you
like
got. I mean, say people. I'm pretty sure Lamar has Steph above him. So you got Steph.
Steph.
Uh,
Um, when you get down to that other range, you could have like
that's
Kevin
10.
Durant. Yeah.
It's hard to put.
I think David Robinson's up there.
I don't think nobody put Dave Robinson in our top 15.
I think David Robinson's absolutely a top 15 player of all time.
Okay.
No.
I mean, you got to put Dr. J. People probably put
Sure.
Dr. J up there. Did I say Bill Russell and
Yeah,
Will?
you said Bill and Will already.
So that's 12.
Karl Malone.
If you want to put David Robinson, that'd be 13. Karl Malone be 14.
Moses Malone, maybe.
Yeah, Lamar's gonna have to give me 15 players that he could put above Kobe, so we could look at this. If you're still listening, Lamar, go ahead and write 15 players down so we can look.
Sorry, Rap God, but D Wade is not better than Kevin Durant.
It's better than Steph Curry and KD. No,
it's blasphemy.
I mean,
there's no way you can make that argument for other players.
Why 15? Because I guess because you said between 11 and 15. Like, is there 15 players or just 11?
Well, that's why it is Lamont, because we've had people saying that
he has Kobe at 11. Okay, all right, that's okay. That's fine.
That's fine. I don't care. No.
Yeah, I thought you were saying that he's like between 11 15, like number 15. Like, but at 11, that's cool. You know, most people have him at 9 or 10. I mean,
that's true.
The highest I see Kobe maybe that any like sports writer put or any network is probably 9 or 8. I mean, his fans.
I mean, I've seen Kobe on top 5 lists, like just. But I mean, when you ask them why or whatever, there's no justification for it. You know,
it's an dropping.
Dropping.
Maybe it's because of like Jokic, Giannis, Steph.
I mean, Jokic. I mean, I don't think you can justify Giannis being top 10 yet, right? I mean,
he could end up his career above Kobe.
He could. I don't see it,
but he could. I don't see it, but he could.
You definitely could. I mean, these next few years are going to be interesting with Jokic and Giannis because their trajectory is pretty high.
Where he said Giannis will pass Kobe. I mean, he could. I mean, he has to do a
Yeah.
lot more. Both of them had slow starts to their career.
Frederick Meredith says Steph. My guards would be Steph, Clay, Ray Allen, Chris Paul, and Jimmy Butler. MJ's and Kobe's egos would be too outsized to fit. Well, I mean, if you're just building your personal team based upon your favorite players, then that's fine, man. I mean, I'm still going to take players that are going to smoke your lineup, but I won't argue with that. They're all great players.
He said Luke will make it on his team above MJ and
Okay,
Kobe.
now you're just drunk.
I mean, the one thing about Kobe, we seen him try to fit in with great players on
Yeah.
the Olympic team. So we know that Kobe would not have any issues fitting in.
No, Kobe would not. Kobe, I mean, contrary to belief, Kobe wanted. I mean, Kobe could fit in. Like he deferred to Shaq. That's why they won 3 titles. He was, more than happy to do that role. He took control when he needed to. He meshed well with Gasol. It wasn't like he was just unwilling to play within the system.
Face at least said, I would love to see Kobe guard Luka, and Luka got to turn around and guard him too.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Luka got obliterated a couple nights ago by Tyrese Halliburton, dude. He's not guarding prime Kobe.
Luka defense, man.
Luka was a revolving door in that game.
It's hard to watch his defense sometimes, but
Yeah,
he
cleared out
puts up numbers. He puts up numbers. He trades off points at time.
Yeah, I mean he'll trade off big time, but
yeah, I don't think he's gonna give up as much as he trades off, but sometimes it's like he's not trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean hope that answers your question there, Lauren, as to where we rank Kobe. I don't think there's a consensus anywhere. I mean, especially among obviously people in the chat. But I think Brandon and I have him top 10. The exact number is obviously up for debate, like anything is. But I want to see someone. I really want to see someone get this trivia question because I have it in my mind. I have it narrowed down. I think to two teams, but I'm still having trouble with the players. It's 3 years. Like I keep fact checking it in my head, but like it's not okay. I keep disqualifying it, but anyway.
I mean, there has been a lot of players who done it, but in that span is different.
Yeah, I mean, what's throwing me off is the 3-year span that these guys got drafted. Like,
I know that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a good one, and they both won MVPs. Interesting.
It's not even a. It could have been a question that I just made up that's not even correct.
I mean, well, that would
who
suck.
knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, right? Just like fucking guys. Well, I mean, how was it? Like, we went on to win a both. That's a good one. I mean, even if I knew chat, I wouldn't tell you because it's your job to get it, so you can pick the topic. So it was a good one. Let's see who's the smartest, who's the biggest brain. But at this point, the main event. While you guys ponder that question, so this week's debate topic is, and hopefully John will pop in here to give us his 2 cents at some point. But who had the biggest individual postseason meltdown of any top 10 player of all time? Obviously, let's let Big B go first. You said it was Kobe? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I remember the series like night and day. I remember watching the series just confused at what I was seeing. Just simply confused at what I was seeing. And there's been some of them. There's been some LeBron series that was like, wow. but there has never, I can't remember a time that it was a series that someone just seemed like they purposely lost it, just purposely lost the series. So this was the 2004 NBA Finals when Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, Gary Payton were all on the same team. Even though they try to build up the Pistons, how much of a team ball they played, but in reality, the Pistons should have got swept. They should not have won the game by the way they were playing. The way the Pistons played that series, they should have got swept. If it wasn't for their secret weapon, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was their secret weapon. Their secret weapon. So, like I said, the series was tied. Kobe balled out in game two. And something got in Kobe Bryant's head that I'm the best player on this floor. I need to prove to everybody that it's my time right now. Shaq is about to be passed up. I know what Phil is saying. We cannot hurt Shaq's feelings. We cannot make Shaq upset. But Kobe's like, I got this. I got this. So at the game, too, I believe Larry Brown figured that out, that Kobe Bryant is ready to take over this series. Like, we have to stop Kobe Bryant. We could leave Ben Wallace, Rasheed on Shaq single coverage, but we need to double and triple team Kobe because it looks like it's going to be another Michael Jordan situation. But not knowing that plan to limit Kobe from scoring worked in the Pistons' favor because Kobe just kept shooting. Kobe just kept shooting the ball. The last three games, Kobe just kept shooting the ball. The last three games, Shaq shot 63%. Single coverage, 63%. I don't know how it's possible for someone shooting 63% to not get the ball 50 times a game. I don't know how that's not possible, but it was possible for Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant shot 32% the last three games. He had game scores under five. I didn't even know that was possible to have game scores. He had two game scores under five. Like, let's put this into perspective. Game score literally tells you who is the best player in the final series. Uh, LeBron James in 2011 had a 13.9, which was terrible. 13.9 for a superstar. Like, it should not be that low for a superstar, especially in their prime. Kobe Bryant game score the last three games was 10, and he had five. He had two games under five. One was a 3.9 and one was a 4.4. And average NBA All Star game score is around, I say, 18. You start getting into that upper echelon when it's over 25. But Kobe Bryant, yeah, he shot bad. He did average 18 points per game those last three games. Um, Shot 32%, shot 16% from the 3 point line, three assists, two rebounds. The last three games, he had a minus 47. Like I said, Shaq shot 63%. Um, it was hard to watch that series, knowing that I wanted Kobe to get that MVP as well. I wanted Kobe to get that MVP, but Kobe just didn't have it. He was working so hard, just working so hard where he could have just. Kobe Bryant would have played better if he would have just dumped the ball down to Shaq and let Shaq be the primary focus on the offense, and Kobe would have probably played a lot better. I believe they would have swept the Pistons if that was the case, or at least one in five. At least one in five. They should not have lost three straight games. And it's hard to see someone play worse than those last three games that Kobe Bryant played in those last three games when they were clearly the better player. If Kobe was single coverage, he would have averaged over 30 points per game, but they made sure to get Kobe the ball out of Kobe's hands. But he didn't want to pass it, so he just shot every time. So that's who I have as one of the biggest meltdowns of all time.
That's. I mean, that's hard to. I remember watching that series, and yeah, I think I was like saying, Kobe, what are you doing? Like, and I mean, arguably that was like a top 10 defensive team of all time over Pistons, but still, Kobe didn't play within.
He played within their hands. I'm
Yeah,
going to double and triple team you and leave Shaq single coverage.
yeah,
I don't want Shaq to get another Finals MVP.
yeah. No, for sure. I mean, he was probably thinking that. Honestly, that was in the back of his head. Like he knew that they even against Ben Wallace, he was gonna get his, and he just didn't want. Yeah. Well, I'll do my best to top that, guys, because I went back and forth with which one to pick here because there's so much low hanging fruit with LeBron James, right? I thought about taking 2008 against the Celtics when in games 1 through 4 he averaged 18 points per game on 25% shooting with a game score of under 9. Okay, putting luckily his team came to the rescue and they were tied 2-2, including game 1 when he was 2 for 18 for 11% for the game. Okay, 12 points and 10 turnovers. All right, LeBron. Luckily, your team bailed your ass out. But no, I decided to go with 2010.
I mean,
Okay.
it's hard when LeBron scored 45 in Game 7 too.
Yeah, that's very hard. When he had
Yeah.
19 free throws, for sure.
I mean, versus that Boston team, yes.
Yeah. But his team was only in. They should not have been. If he wasn't like the worst player performer of all time in games 1 through 4, that game, they would have never won 7. He was the biggest choke artist of all time in that series. But I digress because I'm going over to 2010, where I think that I'm going to give him a pass for 2008 because that was 2008 Celtics, an amazing defensive team, 100%. He was only 23. But let's fast forward over to 2010 where he was MVP. Okay. They were favored to make the finals with the Lakers, and they had home court advantage, just like they did the year before. 61 games. They were a top 10 defense, top 10 offense. So go through the numbers here. Okay, so over the first 3 games of the series, all right, LeBron was fine, 31 points per game on just over 50% shooting, leading from the front. They were playing fantastic defense. Their team is up 2-1 on this same Celtics team. Okay, over the next 3 games, LeBron, this is MVP LeBron too, right? He drops just 20 points per game on 31% shooting. Okay, so 31% shooting with he averaged 6 turnovers a game, and including 9 in the pivotal game 6. So he was out there. The game score he averaged was like I looked it up. It was like 8.7. You want to talk about game score over the last 3 games of a clutch series? So this is the same team that had the second best preseason odds to make. Okay, so again, like I said, this is maybe this includes game 5 where he dropped 15 points on 25%, or I'm sorry, on 21% shooting. 15 points and on 21% shooting, and that he also had 7 turnovers that game. Okay, so basically they went from holding a 2-1 lead against the Celtics, the super team there, right, to LeBron absolutely having arguably the worst 3 games, and again, especially from the defending MVP in playoff history, and they go on to lose every single one of those games. Okay, so in my opinion, that is what are the top 10 players can you point to that basically had that big of a dip, that big of a meltdown, that terrible of shooting percentage? I mean, that many combined with that many turnovers, and obviously also like when you combine that the fact that they were up and leading, they had just blown them out, the Celtics on their home floor, like by 30 points, and then they just get or like boat raced because your MVP completely chokes. No, give me. I mean, at least in 2011, he was efficient. He was just passive. But and in 2008, he was, still young. He wasn't MVP. He wasn't dominant LeBron like he was in '09, and then MVP here in 2010. But to me, that was the biggest meltdown of all time, especially when you consider the circumstances. So,
Okay, so
chat, it's up to you guys.
Game 1, they won. All right, game one, they won. He had 35, so he played well. He played really good.
Yeah.
Um, game two, they lost. He had 24,
Mhm.
8-7. That's decent. You know, it's
Mhm.
great. Not that great, but decent. Then game three, he had 38 points,
Yeah. He was
eight
playing really
rebounds,
well.
and 7 assists. That's
And I think that was one of his
pretty
better.
good. Then
That was one of his better games of all time.
yeah, okay. And then in um, game four, they
Hmm.
they lost by 10. He had 22, 9-8. I mean, I guess I wouldn't call that choking the first four games, right?
No, I mean he was. Look at the shooting percentage. He was out there chucking.
Okay. Okay.
I don't care what his ancillary numbers were.
Shooting
He was out there
percentage.
like.
Okay.
And then game five,
Let me
maybe the worst
see.
performance of his career.
Okay, so the first four games, he shot over 50%.
Yeah. I mean, no,
All
he was.
right, so I wouldn't say
Game
the
four was
first
a good shot.
four. I know. Yeah, I know. You said it's the biggest choke job you ever seen. So the first four games, you didn't say he choked out of six, right?
I said games
So
one
he
through three he was
started to
fine.
choke.
He started till game four. He was not efficient. He was wildly inefficient. Game five was arguably his worst game he ever played.
Okay,
Besides that game one, man.
Okay. Oh, okay. So game five. I mean game four. You say he choked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me see. He had 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, a block, 22 points. I wouldn't call that choking. I wouldn't call
Well, hey,
that choking.
it's
I would call that not playing well. They lost by 10 points. I wouldn't say he choked that game away. Playing
well
on the road, I wouldn't call that
different
choking.
definitions.
I'm okay. Yeah, I don't think you would call that choking either. I don't think you would call that choking
I would
either.
call that choking.
So
When
I
you
would
go from
call that
averaging 30 points a
underperforming.
game, here's the thing
I
though.
would
When you
call
go
that
from averaging,
underperforming. Like, uh-huh.
no, go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead so you can help me understand.
I'd say so. When you go from what? When you go for the first three games, what we say like he was averaging over 30 a game, over 50%, right?
Uh-huh.
In game
Uh-huh.
four, what did he shoot? He shot. He was shooting like well under 50%. He was shooting what, like 35% for that game. I have to look at it.
He shot 39% that game.
Thirty
He
nine
was
percent.
seven
Okay,
for
so 30
18. Seven
sub
for
forty
18.
percent. Yeah, so sub 40% for the
Mm.
game. His turnovers went up all those games, and then he went. Game five was absolutely a choke job.
Losing by 10 on the road to a Boston team. 22,
When you
8, and 9. I know
when
he
you
was only 7
score,
for 18. I just wouldn't call that choking. I wouldn't call that choking.
what about
I would
game five?
just
Would you
call
call that
that
choke?
not a good game. Game five, he did not play well at all. They lost about 30 plus, 15 points, 3 for 14. That's not a good game at all. He
Yeah,
was minus 22. I'm just saying the first four games, I wouldn't say he was choking.
I mean,
That's
like I
all I'm
said,
saying.
it like
Okay, yeah,
when you hold them
game
like that.
five was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Yeah, game five was terrible. The first four games, I wouldn't say he was choking in those
Well,
games.
I don't know.
The
It's really
first
you set a
four
precedence
games, I
because
wouldn't
like
say that's choking.
I would say it because like his
What
one
is
through
choking
three.
to you?
Oh, what choking to me is like when your production, especially if you start a series off strong, and then your production precipitously dips to the point where you're shooting like you're producing like 10 fewer points per game. You're shooting like 12 to 15% below what you were shooting not only for the season but for that series. And like then you continue that trend, and the team knows like because you're shooting their team out of games, they can't depend on you, and that's directly why you lose. I mean, that's obviously LeBron wasn't on some kind of super team, but
So, oh, okay, I'm a little bit confused because I understand you're saying that someone did not play well, but you're saying that he choked in game four.
well, it didn't play well. I mean, that's an understatement. Not playing well.
He led his no. I'm just saying he led his team. He led his team in points. He led his team in steals, assists, rebounds. I mean, they lost by 10 points. I wouldn't call that choking.
What would you
It's
call? So,
kind of hard to
what's your
call that
definition of
choking,
choking?
though.
What's your definition of choking then? I mean, there's only really one definition, and that's like you play so poorly compared to where you were playing with in the during the regular season, or especially in that series. More so in that
I would call
series.
one game choking. Like, you cannot choke. Game four did not cost them a series. Huh? Game four didn't cost him. Like, you're saying the first four games, game four, that he led his team and everything, he choked. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of hard to say that's choking.
No, you can
Like,
lead the team and
I can
everything, but
understand if you talk about the other games, but if you're saying no, you're saying game four he choked. I can understand you saying the last three games he choked the series away, but you cannot choke in one game when it's tied 2-2. You
it's
choke in the last game when you significantly underperform. Like
he
if
did
you're
significantly
up
underperform.
three
Like
to one,
he just came off like a 38-point performance and he scored what like 20, 24, but he shot sub 40%, and his turnovers spiked massively.
that's you know that's like normal for a lot of players, like to have great games and not have a great game the next game they play. Like all
Wait,
players do
how
that.
common
No
is that for a
player
top five
has
player who was MVP that year? Not very.
to have a bad game in the playoffs.
No, like
I wouldn't even call that a
it's not
bad
just
game.
one
I
bad
just
game. He
not.
had it. He had three.
But you
We're
say
talking
he
about.
choked in game four. That's what I'm
We're
saying.
talking
You're
about
saying
out
game
of the
four
top
he
10.
choked.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
choke job, especially compared like to what I outlined he did during the first three games. It's the definition of a choke job,
so you mean to
especially
tell
game
me that?
five. Game five outlined it. If
So
you bounce
okay,
back or
okay,
whatever,
okay. So
it's the same thing as Kobe.
okay. Let me put this in a little bit of like perspective. Michael Jordan in game two versus Boston scored 63 points. The next game he had 19 points. Would you say
Yep.
that he choked and that's the reason that they lost the series?
Yeah, I can admit that Michael Jordan definitely underperformed a lot of those games too. 100% choked. Whatever you
I'm
want to
not
say it.
saying
Yeah.
underperform. Like I'm talking. So you say that Michael Jordan choked because he did score. He only scored 19 points out of scoring 63 points. I would
Sure,
say he
he
didn't
choked.
perform as well. I would say he choked.
So then no one ever choked
They
in
didn't
NBA
have a
history, is what
chance to
you're
win
saying.
that series. I'm just
So
saying
no
you
one ever
cannot
choked.
choke because you have one bad game. You cannot choke because you have one bad game. I wouldn't call game. I'm just saying I wouldn't call game four a choke job.
Okay.
If he underperformed in the next three games, like 3 games in a row, yes, you could say he choked.
That's what he did. Dude, like look at
Like
the
a
look at
lot
the
of people
stats, man.
say
Like he was
LeBron choked in versus the Babs. I would say just because of one. Like I wouldn't call game four a choke when he had 22, 9 and 8 and
I mean it just depends. Like what's the context matters too, but like this was arguably the best version of
that he
LeBron
wouldn't
from like
call. I wouldn't even say anything.
yeah, I mean
Yeah, like if you said in game five he choked, like that's nothing I could say because he significantly underperformed in game five. Like he
yeah.
was 3 for 14. Like Jordan had like a 3 for 18 game in a playoff series that they won. And I wouldn't say he like choked in that series. I would just say he had a bad game in that series.
Well yeah, it's probably because the rest of his games were so much better. But like when you're here's the thing though, when you're starting off the series, like
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I would say he choked in that series. Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's we're discussing. That's why it was a specific question was out of the top 10 players, not all time, but the top 10 players, which one was the biggest meltdown? I mean, to me that was pretty dramatic. Obviously, I could have used the 2008. I could have used 2007, but I mean, you got to cut LeBron some slack because arguably he wasn't even in prime then, and he was going up against one of the greatest teams or quote unquote dynasties we've ever seen. But this one to me just stood out because they were up, like they blew a lead. Check. He, there were multiple games where he started off strong, and then the latter half of the series, he nosedived, and that's why they lost. To me, that checks all the boxes. The only reason I didn't use 2008 was because he started that way from the jump, and then the last 3 games he actually played better, gave his team a chance to win. But he had some of the worst performances of all time, especially his in games 1 through 4 of that 2008 series. That's not even up for debate. But he rebounded from that, and they played a lot better. And also, they weren't ever favored. The Celtics were heavily favored that series.
Are are you rambling on about 2008 because you know that 22 9 and 8 is not choking in 2010?
It's like
Is
I
that
said,
what
he's
you're doing?
underperformed. He's underperformed again with his
Okay,
again according to his own thing.
okay. So, all right, yeah, underperform. Okay, all right, yes, okay.
And I think it was one of the
So he
bigger
didn't
underperformances of
play.
all time.
He didn't average. He didn't score 30 in game 4. So I guess that's choking.
Yeah, when you shoot under 40%,
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't score 30 points in game 4,
when
so
you're
he's
averaging
choking.
30 points per game
I
on
mean,
50, on better than 50%
okay.
shooting.
Then in game 5, he didn't play well at all.
No,
He didn't. He didn't play. He didn't play well at all in
that
game 5.
say for what it is. That was
Okay,
one of
and
the
then
worst
game
games ever
six
played.
because he choked. Okay, no, it's not one of the worst games ever played. Come on, Travis. All right.
No, your MVP
In
scores
game
15 points.
six, he choked. I
Your
wouldn't say one
MVP
of the worst
scores
games
15
in
points
playoff
on
history. Come on,
20%
Travis. All
shooting.
right.
That's not a bad.
Tell me how he choked. Okay, tell me how he choked in game 6 because you didn't do a good job. Tell me how he choked in game 4.
Oh,
But tell me how
hey,
he choked
luckily,
in game
luckily, it's not my
six.
job to tell you. We're gonna let the chat decide
I know.
who had the bigger choke. Was it Kobe or 2010
Okay,
LeBron based on
so
these facts?
you don't want to explain. So you don't want to explain how LeBron choked in game 6.
He shot well under his average. Obviously, he led his team in rebounds and assists.
Okay, whatever.
But when you're talking about
He had
how he started that
19
series,
rebounds, 10 assists.
yeah, when you're talking about how he started that series, okay, when he was averaging way above like what he was doing in the regular season, he was averaging 30 points per game, over that on better than 50% shooting. Again, then he nosedives, not just the scoring averages, but how his efficiency. His efficiency is what lost him that series. Like I don't say how it's still hard to understand. Just like how
Okay.
Kobe Bryant, the same thing is true of him.
Okay.
That's what Kobe was shooting his team out of games because he was determined to do that. Like LeBron, obviously, I don't think was trying to do that, but like when you're the MVP and when your team is up 2-1 because of your stellar play, and then you don't continue that, that's choking.
So he scored 27 points, 6.
Mm-hmm. What?
I'm saying is that what you're saying that he choked in game 5 because he was 8 for 21?
In that series? 2010?
Yeah. I mean, saying like I know you said that he choked that series, but you only said that he played bad in one game.
No, I said he played poorly relative to what he was doing in all 3 of those games.
Okay, so it's 19, 10, and 27 choking.
Give me the context.
He played a basketball game, elimination game that he was
So
19 rebounds,
if
10
I
assists,
told you, hey
27 points.
Brandon, we're going to be in a 7 games or 6 game series together, right? You're going to average 30 points per game or more, and you're going to shoot well above average. You're going to shoot 52% from the field for the games 1 through 3. We're going to be up 2-1 because of your great play. Now you're going to shoot sub 40% for the remaining 3 games. Your points are going down. Your turnovers are going up. We're going to lose all 3 games, especially game 5, because everyone on the team outscores you, outshoots you, as well as the other team. and we get blown out. So now we're down, and we get closed out again because you shoot under 40% from the field. You're not efficient. Sure, you're padding your stats, but again, you're not playing good basketball. We lose.
Okay. So the first 4 games, he outscored everyone. More rebounds, more assists. So you're not talking about the first 4 games, and you're definitely not talking about the last game, Game 6. So you're only talking about Game 5.
No, I'm talking about the last 3 games.
The last 3 games, who on his team outplayed him and outscored him and out rebounded him, outsisted?
It's not about you relative to your team.
So what is it about?
That's not the argument I'm making at all. Because how often have we seen superstars outscore their team but play poorly? Kobe did that many nights. So did Michael Jordan. Like, everybody outscored. Like, if you're taking the most shots, you're taking the most free throws, your total points are going to look great. But it's relative to how you're playing. LeBron was playing fantastic in games 1 through 3. You're missing the point. He melted, his production dipped to such a point. The last 3 games, especially from a percentage standpoint, that they choked that series away.
Okay. So he choked the series away because he underperformed the last 3 games. Okay.
Yep, he underperformed relative to how he was performing the first 3 games. Big time.
Okay. I don't think the first 3 games he had a triple-double with 27, 19, and 10.
Doesn't matter.
So,
Like, those aren't putting the
and
ball
so
in
you're not talking about Game 6. You're talking about Game 4 and 5. Basically.
No, I'm talking about games. Which is also, hey, LeBron, you shot 38% from the field. I don't care what you ended up with. That's playing right into the Boston Celtics' hands. That's what they want you to do. They're a top 10 defense that year.
Okay. So you're saying that he could not have won if he shot 40%. There's no way
2% better?
won.
No, I'm saying relative to his own standards.
Yeah, there's no way that he could have won a series shooting 38%.
Against that team? Probably not.
I mean, just against any team. Like, there's just versus that team. There's no way he could have won shooting 38%.
I mean, that's theoretical. They didn't win, and because we don't have to see what if. They literally lost that series, and we saw why.
Because LeBron James, like, if LeBron James wasn't on the floor, they would have won.
No, that's a ridiculous question.
You said that they lost because of LeBron James.
Okay, are we replacing him with someone who's playing way better? Then yes. But who are we replacing him with? You can't just take him off the floor.
Who could you replace him with, though? You said they lost because of LeBron James. Like, he had to be the reason. Like, if he wouldn't play, they would have won, right?
And what you're trying to do doesn't make any sense. Like, you're saying,
yes, I'm just saying what you said. Like, they lost.
I can replace him with I can replace him with a lot of people who were having better seasons.
Like, who?
Like, anybody who was going to go in that same situation and perform better. What you're saying is that it doesn't matter how he performed. They didn't lose because of him when they directly did.
Yeah, I'm just saying they didn't lose because of LeBron. They was in the series because of LeBron. So it's kind of hard to say that they lost because of LeBron in Game 6 when he had
both things can be true.
19. Okay, tell me how.
Just like hey, in 2008, right? When they were they were tied 2-2. Mm-hmm. LeBron wasn't the best player on his team for any one of those 4 games. The first 4 games. Yeah, okay. But they were still tied 2-2 because his team was stepping up.
Oh, okay.
So the same thing is true here, but he was playing way better the first 3 games. But then again, his production dipped as far as his points and his percentage from the field. I don't see what's so hard to understand about that.
I mean, I'm just asking you the question. You said they lost because of LeBron. Like, that means that if he wasn't playing, they would have won. Apparently, they didn't lose because of LeBron.
So you're saying they should have played 4-on-5, or
they could have set LeBron on the bench and put somebody else in?
Okay, that's theoretical. They didn't happen, so we don't know what would have happened.
Theoretical saying they lost because of LeBron.
No, theoretical saying.
It's just hard for me to understand how someone who is averaging who averaged it. I mean, who scored in the game 27 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists, and they're the reason that they lost. It's just kind of hard for me to to wrap
Hmm.
my head around that.
Okay, I know it is, but you'll get there at some point. You'll get
I
there.
mean, hopefully I can because there's not too many players who could do that. And
Hmm.
huh, I mean, Kobe Bryant won a finals that year in Game 7, shooting 6 for 24.
Yeah, and he arguably wasn't the best player in his own team, at least in like the majority of those games, or at least two of them, especially not in Game 7.
I mean, he
He led
played.
his team in scoring. That's Game 7, right? With like 22 points, but he shot terribly.
He
So
was
Pau Gasol was the
needed.
better player.
He
Wasn't
was needed. I wouldn't say that they if they would have lost, they would have lost because of him. I guess Achadi he's ready to talk about. I guess John's not going to be able to make it on today.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know. Oh, Johnny's woman parts are probably tingling because we're talking about LeBron choking, and he can't let that go. Especially since he had a Friday night diatribe about Michael Jordan.
Let me go ahead and let Johnny come up.
But yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna get that answer to your
All right,
question either.
I'm gonna put it back up again. I don't think anyone even tried to get it.
I don't know what that is. I mean, it's
Well,
not
I'm gonna see.
OKC.
I'm gonna see if a Johnny come up and get it. If not, I will tell you guys the answer because no one in the chat even tried to get it. I don't think no one knows. It's just
I saw
something
somebody say.
that I know.
Somebody said OKC, but I don't. I can't think of the player. It wasn't Durant, but who else did they draft that won a title? Oh wait, Westbrook. He did win a title.
Yeah.
So was it OKC? No wait, Westbrook didn't win a title, did he?
Yeah, he won this imaginary title that you're thinking about.
No, yeah, he didn't win a title. Okay, no. Because he just got the Nuggets this year. Okay, got it. Interesting. I don't know.
Say what's rain win no title.
I mean, it's not the Celtics. Who do they draft that multiple time MVP winners? Yeah, who is that? Is this something you just threw together? I don't know.
Are you right for me to just tell you since no one could get it?
Well, I don't. I think they're thinking about it. Give them like
They're thinking
five more
about it.
minutes.
Give them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, that was Peter back on.
All right. What do you guys have to say about our debate here? Also, Brandon's going to put up the vote counter in the chat.
Yeah, I gotta put that up. Give me a second. I gotta go and change the baby while you guys go ahead and go back and forth.
Okay. Who is that? Haskell. What's up, Pete?
Yo, what's happening, T Perfect?
What up, man? How's it going? What's up?
Nothing much, man. I just came in on the tail end. So, what was the debate about? About Kobe?
No, I mean close. It was about John was supposed to be here too, but he's running late. But it's we were supposed to pick who had in our opinion, out of the top 10
Mhm.
players of all time, who had the worst playoff meltdown of all time.
Oh yeah, that's too easy. Okay,
Yeah.
because I was wondering why you was going in on LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's no doubt for me, LeBron, especially when you juxtapose it with the esteem that he's held in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
To me,
I don't give him a pass for that 2008 at all.
yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the only reason I did it was because of, like I said, this is circumstance. I'm not a LeBron hater, but like he was the reason why I almost picked 2008. In fact, I outlined why 2008 was probably the worst that he's ever played in a series, especially games 1 through 4 when he was averaging like 18 a game on like 20% shooting. And it was just, but he was, I just picked 2010 because he was MVP. They were up 2-1 and then they blew that lead. But otherwise, I mean, Brandon was arguing for Kobe 04 Kobe, which is a great argument because Kobe was playing selfish hero ball, and arguably he was the reason they lost that series as well. Especially when they should have done what they did all year, which is perform inside out to Shaq, maybe give Malone some more shots. But this trivia question is killing us, man. Like I can't get it. I'm thinking real hard. So I don't know. Any ideas, man?
Which NBA team drafted 2 players within a 3-year span that went on to both win regular season MVP and a NBA title?
I'm thinking it's not the Sixers, is it? I'm like, no, like I'm just trying to think when they drafted Moses Malone. Oh, or did they trade for him?
Nah, Moses was traded for.
Yeah. So
So no,
it's
drafted 2 players.
I can't. It's so tough.
The Spurs maybe with Duncan. No, that's
I
not. They
mean,
were within
no,
3 years.
it would have had to have been D-Rob too, right? Because
Yeah, and they weren't drafted within 3 years, obviously.
yeah, and Kawhi doesn't have an MVP, does he? No.
No, he doesn't.
Hmm.
Let's go team by team.
Trying to think of the MVP winners though, like who, and they were on the same. They were had to have played together too, right? Like, not the Heat. It's not.
Nah, because the way the question is worded, they could have potentially went on at a later date and did it with another
Yeah,
team. It's nothing
it's
that.
not the Lakers. Look at that. Russell and Kuzi. Is it?
Well, go through all the MVP. I could just Google all the MVP winners and just figure it out that way. That's cheap. Just
You
get a
could,
list
but
of
that still
MVP
wouldn't tell
winners.
you like when they were drafted, though, right? I mean, it might be Russell and Kuzi. We'll see. I don't think we'll see.
Well,
Brandon's
if
are
you
trolling
go
us.
through, if you were to get a list of the all the MVP winners, if you know enough about basketball history, it's gonna jump out at you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So am I thinking?
But people think people hate LeBron. Like, dude, nobody hates that man, bro. It's just like, for me, again, if we're judging the guy within the context of being the GOAT, we're saying this is the absolute best player that ever lived, right? And you point out that through 4 games in that 2008 series, he was shooting what, like you said, 19%?
He was shooting like 22%, 23% on. Yeah, and it was like his turnovers were astronomical. Game
Yeah,
2, game 1, he had like almost a triple double with turnovers.
yeah, and the series was tied 2-2.
Yeah,
So
because his team was outperforming him.
right, which just goes to show, and even back then they were pushing this narrative of he has no help and all of this stuff. There's no way you can have no help, play that terribly, and still be tied in the series and push it to 7. Like you said, that game 1, 2 of 18, 10 turnovers, and
Yeah,
you lose the game by 2 points.
yeah, and like you had guys like Daniel Marshall and like guys that you've never really heard of more than one time, and like they were out there putting in work and playing great defense. Like that's one thing I hate about that narrative was like he had zero help in his Cleveland. Like that's bullshit. They were always consistently a top 10 defense.
Whoa! Say that again. What did he shoot in game 1?
Here we go.
11%.
2 of 18, Johnny.
What game was this?
Game 1, 2008,
Game
bro.
1, Eastern Conference semifinals, 2008. 2 of 18, 10 turnovers.
Johnny doesn't want to talk about that. But I didn't pick that one because he was 23. It was '08 Celtics. I mean, I get it though. Like, but that's he wasn't MVP yet. But that's just why. I mean, it's an easy runner up because I don't. I mean, I think unless you're just a biased, homer for certain teams, then you can admit when certain players have underperformed, and all of them have moments where they've underperformed. Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, every one of them. There's no player who's just exceeded or went above and beyond all the time.
No, the problem is that you guys accredit LeBron James having a bad shooting night to why his team loses, while the guys you claim are better than LeBron James or the guy that you call your GOAT has bad shooting nights and his team still wins. So that's
That
the
happened
point.
with LeBron too.
No, what you mean that happened with LeBron? When did LeBron go 2 of 18 and his team won?
What the hell are you talking about? So look at games 1 through 4. He was shooting poorly every single night, and they were up 2-2, or they were tied 2-2. And they weren't doing anything. He wasn't the best.
When did he go 2 of 18? The other games that that you're talking about that he played in, he was 6 of 24 in game
Trash.
2. They lost. They lost.
Okay. Look at game
Then
3
he was 5 of 16.
And
They
won.
won that game. Okay, but again, you said 2 of 18. We're talking about that's shooting.
I didn't say 2 of 18 every single time. I said he played.
No. But again, Jordan went 3 of 18 and his team won a basketball game.
We're not talking about Michael Jordan.
No, yeah, but that's your goal.
So what? I said Michael Jordan underperformed and choked too.
No. What I'm telling you is that if Michael Jordan goes 3 for 18 and his team wins, you don't consider that choking. But LeBron goes 2 for 18. Now, how? You won. How did you choke?
A choke means you lose, but when you win, you're still underperforming wildly. You just didn't choke to.
Can you choke and win, Travis? Can you choke and win?
Of course.
Then this is not even a conversation.
Sure it is. Because when you choke, you lose. And the series, like what we're talking about, is people who choked and lost, not choked and won. That's why you picked Kobe. That's why I picked it on Tim LeBron.
How do you choke and win? Is my question.
Your teammates.
You want to change the terminology?
No, I want your understanding of how someone chokes, but their team still wins the series. So how do you determine when someone wins the series because of choking or not? Because if someone choked and their team still won, then how are you going to tell somebody their team lost because they choked? You're just going off of results. You're playing Monday quarterback.
No, I'm saying, okay, so maybe if we can't say choking in a situation where you win, I'm saying you wildly underperform and yet your team wins in spite of you. Just like how Kobe.
I mean, how
Kobe was
can like
crashing.
LeBron choking?
What?
Like how can he? Okay, how you said that he choked in 2010 because he started off good and underperformed, and that's how he lost. In this series, he starts off bad but performed well and still lost. But you still consider it choking because he has bad games, and those bad games led to a loss. So if you have a bad game and your team wins, that means you didn't choke. Your team won. You just underperformed.
To be honest, how can someone choke in a playoff series if their last 3 games is 35, 32, and 45, and they force a game 7? Like how is that?
I literally answered that question like in our first 5 minutes of this conversation.
But you, I mean, I don't even know how you consider that choking. That's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Choking.
No, because he was 2 of 18. Because he was 2 for 18 in game 1.
When you play historically bad, especially up to your
if you have a bad game, if you have a bad game,
stop saying historically bad when this has happened in history. This is not historically bad. This has happened in history. Players have gone 2 of 18 before in playoff games. You're making shit up.
No one's making shit up. You're literally reading the stats right now.
That's not historically though. That's not historically. That's happened plenty of times before. Historically means it's like this never happened before.
Okay, all right. So
show me a top 2 player who's shot.
See, there you go with the top 2.
11%.
Michael fucking Jordan.
Bullshit.
All right. So
Mike shot 11% for a game.
3 of 18 is no difference. Travis, one more shot makes it not choking. So Jordan goes 3 of 18. That's not choking.
You're fucking obsessed with Jordan. Like, get the.
No, I'm obsessed with your lies. I'm obsessed with your lies. Stay consistent. Like Brandon says, stay consistent.
Nobody believe what Travis saying is choking. No one. He's using a different term. He mean underperforming. He doesn't mean choking.
That's what I'm asking him.
So we can't say. So Brandon, we
can't
say underperform. Then, right? We're just saying.
That's all he mean is a bad game.
We can't say choking. So Kobe just underperformed.
All you mean is a bad game. All you mean is a bad game.
So tell me, are we not going to say the words choked anymore?
You're just saying a bad game.
You got to use it appropriately.
I don't know what you mean by choking. You mean a bad game is choking. You in your mind, choking is a bad game. That's all it is. That's fine.
A one bad game? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
You're saying that somebody who had 22, 8, and 9 choked. And in reality, you mean that they had a bad game. They didn't perform like they did the prior game when they had 38. So that's
No, you can't go. No, Brandon, you can't have a shooting slump in the playoffs. You just can't have one. You can't. You can't have one. You can't have one.
No, but he's had a bad game. Like you said, LeBron choked in 2008 when he had 35, 32, and 45 the last 3 games. I don't know how that's choking in reality.
No, Brandon,
but
did you literally not hear what I said about that series?
I understand what you mean.
No,
you mean having some bad games, but
Travis, this is why
he did not choke, so it's fine.
This is why your logic is futile and it doesn't make sense.
It goes up and down.
Oh wait, listen. The first 4 games of that same series you're talking about, LeBron James shot 25% in that series.
Yeah,
he was averaging 19 points per game, and the series was tied 2-2.
Yeah, because his team was outperforming him.
How is his team outperforming him? He's not competing against his team. That's what I'm saying. Like now, when Brandon was using that he was leading his team in all categories, you didn't care then. But now that his team, now you want to use his team against him.
Wally Zerbiak shot 75% from the field.
Again, when Travis, again, when Brandon, this was just an hour ago, when Brandon was telling you that LeBron James was outperforming his teammates, there's no way he could choke, you said that did not matter. So why does it matter now that his teammates outperform him? How does that now? How do you switch that on that? How do you move that goalpost so easily within an hour?
There's no goalpost moving.
Because he wants to be right.
No,
because he wants to be right. That's
no,
all.
you're just being a fucking idiot, dude. Like, because I said he was playing historically bad. I even said that the reason I didn't pick 2008 was because he recovered from that series, and I gave plenty of context. I said he played again, according to his standards, he played some of the worst ball of his career in games 1 through 4. That's facts. That's not moving in kind of a goalpost.
Serious. And then a game in 2010, he had 1 bad game. All right,
no,
so
he had multiple bad games.
Okay, so Daddy Mac got it right. This is the right answer. It was the Milwaukee Bucks.
Danny Mac, good job. I think the real problem is you guys are just asshole because it's LeBron we're talking about. Like, nobody had a problem when you were digging on Kobe.
You're not being consistent.
I totally consistent.
No,
I was not inconsistent at all.
How can you choke a series away with 1 bad game? That doesn't make any sense, Travis.
It was more than just 1 bad game, dude. 1 bad game is like not what we're talking about here. I outlined why he played 3 bad games according to how he started the series on.
Dr. Dre was drafted by the Bucks. Oh yeah, because he was drafted by the Bucks, but he just went to the ABA. But he went to the ABA.
Wait, okay. When was he drafted?
In 1971 or 72, one of those years. So he was drafted in the NBA, but he just went to the ABA.
Yep.
Okay, that
Mar,
makes sense.
Did you get that first?
Did you get? Damn, that was a great question, Brandon. That 3 year span is.
Mar said he got it first. My bad. I know. I didn't see what he did. I must have been gone.
Yeah. We gotta look for the comment. It's probably somewhere here. Then if Mars got it.
Mar, if you got that, then give us the time.
Yeah.
It took y'all long enough.
Bill Russell wasn't drafted by the Celtics, so that's why that one got this. Because I was thinking Bob Cousy and Bill Russell.
Cousy played like maybe 5+ years before Bill Russell.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He put Cousy here. Yeah.
Mar said the Bucks at 413. Yeah.
All right. So
you said 413. Let me see.
He said 413. Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. So Travis, so you're saying that
right here.
LeBron choked that series away versus the Celtics in 2010 because of what again? Because I know you said it's not because of 1 game, because you cannot choke the series away in 1 game. It's because of game 4 and 5. And are you including game 6? That's all I want to know. Are you including game 6 in that choking job?
I mean, how many times do you want me to explain it to you?
No, I'm just saying, are you including game 6? That's all I want to know. Are you including game 6?
Yes, of course, when you shoot 140% compared to what you were doing in the first 3 games of the series?
Yes, you're including game 6. Okay, that's all I want to know. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what do you want? That's what we
use.
You know what?
You know what's crazy about your philosophy here, Travis. This is what I'm doing, right?
What
So okay, just check this out. I'm just listening. We're questioning the situation. All right, just listen to me right quick. Okay, so in 2008 when he faced the Boston Celtics in the 7-game series, if we take the first 4 games, LeBron James averaged less than 20 points and shot 25%. His team was 500. They won half of those games, right? If we take the other side of it, if we take game 4 through game 7, LeBron James averaged 33 points per game on 43% shooting, and his team was still 500.
No, it's game 5 through 7, not 4.
No. Again, pay attention to what I'm telling you. Listen, Travis, pay attention to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm telling you. If we take games 1 through 4, they were split 2 games apiece. LeBron James, within those 4 games, was averaging less than 20 points and shooting 25% from the field. If we reverse the series and we keep game 4 right there with it, but just go 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is still 4 games sample, and it's still 2-2, right? They still split the games. LeBron James averaged 33 points per game, shooting 43% from the field in those 4 games. So by your logic by just looking at how a player played for a specific reason is why a team lost, by looking at the box score, is a flawed way of doing this. Because here it is, I'm showing you 4 games of LeBron James averaging 33 points per game and shooting 43%, and they still split the 4-game series there. And on the other side, he's performing completely bad, and his team still splits the series. You're not really discerning why somebody's losing a series. You're just telling us how somebody played bad or not, which I always tell you guys, it's a team game. You can't just look at the box score and say somebody's playing bad, that's why their team lost. If they would have did this, their team could have won. That's not how it happens.
I fundamentally disagree with most of what you just said there, because I did watch that series, and what you can tell is, he wasn't. The reason why they were splitting the series had nothing to do with, or in the last few games, why that he was picking it up, because they would have lost that series outright. But his team stepped up in the games 1 and 2 especially, 3 and 4, to give them a fighting chance. If you look at how they were playing great defense. They were holding Boston way below their shooting average as well. They were both top 10 defenses. They were playing, despite LeBron's struggles, they were doing good. LeBron chipped in.
So you're proving our point that players don't choke a series, teams win and lose series.
I've never said that.
So then LeBron definitely doesn't choke no series. There's not a series he choked, because his team is the reason why you win and lose. Just like anybody, we always tell you guys this. But if we really want to go to who had the worst playoff series, who underperformed the worst, which you want to consider choking, it is Michael Jordan. I just showed it to y'all yesterday. That's even worse. Because if he didn't do
which series is that?
88, 89, to choose one.
No, it's not at all.
Which
it
one?
is.
Tell me which one you choose, though, Johnny. Which
You're
one
not going to win that
you
physically.
Well, to me, the worst one is 1988 by far, because I'm comparing them to because I'm comparing them to themselves. The one against the Detroit Pistons, he lost 1-4.
Okay, let's see what he did performance-wise. Hold on.
He was still shooting.
You're gonna go box score watch, and I'm gonna tell you what he did. He underperformed.
Yeah. So did LeBron James.
No, but he underperformed to the point to where his team lost due to it. That's the point, because his team was predicated on him doing certain things that he just stopped doing. LeBron James was still doing what he was supposed to do. When LeBron James was shooting 2 of 18, he was still getting you 9 rebounds, 9 assists. When LeBron James is playing bad, he still does other things on the basketball court. Your man does other things on the basketball court to make his team win. He scores, and he doesn't score, and he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and his team lost due to that. They were relying on him to do it.
You're saying LeBron underperformed because of his field goal percentage. Like, that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
It's the extreme degree to which that happened. It's not just like, LeBron, only shot 45.
But it's false, because the 3 games that they won, because the 3 games that they won in that series, LeBron James shot bad, and the 2 games that he shot best in that series, they lost that game. So you can't predicate it on how good he shoots, on how good on his team winning or not.
It definitely helps out. You can't
I
say
mean,
that about Jordan
losing-
either.
No, of course it
Just
helps.
because
It
you
helps.
don't
It
mean you
helps out
choke.
your argument. Exactly, it helps out your argument, but it doesn't help out for this idea that you just think. Well, if LeBron James is shooting 7 of 18 instead of 2 of 18, his
No,
team
what it
wins.
actually destroys is the fact that the stupid inference he had absolutely no help when it's all evidence to the contrary. You're saying that he was contributing in other ways, which might be true, but you can't tell me
He
that
doesn't.
when your
He doesn't
MVP,
have. He doesn't have help in contrast to who he's facing.
when your MVP is taking the most shots and basically shooting you out of the game, but your team is performing well despite that.
Travis,
You're supposed to be
Travis,
shooting.
It's
That's what
just
his
a dumb
job.
question.
Hold up.
He's supposed to
Travis,
be shooting.
Travis,
He's supposed to be shooting.
Did Michael Jordan choke in 1996 versus the Sonics?
Yeah, he had one of his worst series ever.
Okay, if you're saying that he choked versus the Sonics when he won a series with Finals MVP, like your definition of choking is not what most people think. That's all I'm.
That's exactly. It's fundamentally
That's all I'm
flawed. That's
when
what I'm
we're
trying to
saying
say.
no, we're
Hey,
saying
hold up, Peter.
can say.
Do you think Michael Jordan choked in the 1996 Finals when he lost when they beat the Sonics? Do you think he choked?
No, he underperformed.
Did he choke?
Nah, to
No,
me,
okay.
choking is when
You gotta
it's-
lose.
it's-
You gotta
Yeah,
lose.
oh,
I don't think you necessarily have to lose, but it's when it's because the choking thing is more of an eye test. There is no real quantitative way to measure choking.
Oh, so then we're gonna be arguing all night.
Choke and win. How
Yeah,
can-
That's what I'm still
choking-
trying to figure it out. Please tell me whoever
Choke-
choked and still won. Please, anybody explain that to me. Whoever choked and still won a
So, by that
series.
definition, by what your logic, we can't use the word choke in any context then because you're saying it doesn't apply to any situation.
No, of my understanding, you have to lose to choke. Let's
Your
start there.
understanding. Your understanding's wrong.
Not necessarily. Like to me, choking is when it's very apparent that the moment is too big for you, and you're shrinking the moment.
Okay.
But your teammates can pick you up in that instance, and you win. So it's not impossible for you to
So
choke. And
who has
you
ever
still win.
choked? Who has ever choked and their team has still won?
Maybe probably Larry Bird might be the closest. That's comes immediately to mind. Didn't they have 2 single-point games in one of those finals?
He had,
They
yes,
still won.
He had back-to-back single-point games. But does that
And
mean
they
that
won? They won that finals, right?
Of course, they won the finals. Yeah, he wasn't
Right.
finals
Yeah,
MVP or anything.
that's the first one that's the only one that immediately comes to mind.
Kobe 2000 averaged like 15 points a game in the finals, and
Nah,
they
he
won.
was a baby. Don't do that.
So was
Fifth
Larry
year,
Bird.
baby.
That was Larry Bird's second year.
5th year, he that was his second year starting. T Perfect. Don't do that.
Hey, if he's starting, then whatever. I mean, he's still a top 10 player. He
He
gets
was
the
an
smoke
All
over-
NBA. He was an All NBA player.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Shaq,
I'm
that
not.
was one of Shaq's best series of all time. Or got hurt.
So Kobe choked in 2000 and 2004.
They underperformed. If we want to use the term underperformed wildly, we can do that.
I asked you who choked and still won. I didn't ask you who underperformed. I asked you who choked
and still won.
and still won. He brought up Bird. He said Bird choked. Then you
Well, I think
brought
that's a question for
2000.
another day.
That's the understood. We're talking about choking.
No, we're not talking about that.
No.
We're talking about who choked the worst, and we already argued that. We're not going to turn this into a
1988
Sunday
Michael
argument
Jordan.
where everyone just comes up here and screams for 3 hours.
1988 Michael Jordan because
False.
again the Cavaliers have won games like Travis has proven when LeBron James plays bad. The Chicago Bulls never win a game when Jordan plays bad. They've never had a stretch where Jordan went under 30 points per game and they were able
That just
to
means
win.
Jordan's way more valuable than LeBron.
Hey,
That means Jordan choked. Again, the pressure was too big for him. Exactly. He couldn't handle the pressure, like Peter said, and under the pressure he folded versus a team that had no all NBA player, no all defensive player on their roster, and he allowed that team themselves to actually outperform what they normally do versus him. So that's
What
why
they
he
normally
choked
do
the
versus
worst.
him. No, that
Yep.
team was great during the regular season.
No, the players outperformed him in the playoffs. Like
They
like
outperformed
Adrian-
him when he was the
Yes.
best player on both teams, even
No,
while he was quote unquote choking.
Again, you're going by box score matches. They outperform.
It doesn't matter. That's what we have to go by.
Travis,
and like you should watch the games as well.
Travis, stop telling me what matters to you because I don't care what matters to you. I'm giving you my point. Let me tell you it first.
Your point's
then you
bullshit.
can. It's not your bullshit. Don't get mad because I'm articulating myself very correctly and you have no rebuttal for it.
Articulating.
Yes,
You're
because
using
I'm giving you
backwards logic.
because my logic is comparing players to themselves. I'm comparing Jordan
That's what I
to
did with
him.
LeBron.
No, but again, but that's what I'm doing here now, and that's why Jordan choked worse, and that's why I'm telling you Adrian Dantley and them played better, because they performed better than what they normally did versus Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And Michael Jordan completely underperformed as the league MVP, as the league defensive player of the year. He was all of these things. So that's why he underperformed, and he was completely the reason why his team lost. And he choked up 3 straight series based off of one simple strategy that he couldn't figure out and understand. That's a big
Like I said, I've already
difference.
challenged you to a debate on this.
I know
and
you did,
You're super wrong.
but
You're gonna set that
1988.
up.
Yeah, so what you have to
Yeah,
set it up?
hey,
I got
Johnny.
Friday nights.
Hey Johnny, I'm gonna be a traitor to the Jordan collective right now. I'm gonna give you a better series if you want to point out a Michael Jordan choke, and this would satisfy the whole choking and still winning thing. Shit, you could go with 97 against the Heat. That was a way worse performance than
I've
against,
never heard somebody choking
Detroit.
and winning. I've never heard somebody winning and choking at the same time. I've never heard of this before.
I'm
You have to
saying
lose. That's
that
why
would
you
come
choked, because you lost.
Why do you
That
have
will
to
come-
lose?
Because that's the point of choking. The point of choking is the
No.
results end up to you not winning.
Choking just means that you're playing terribly below your standards.
No, that's underperforming. That's called underperforming, meaning that
Right.
and underperforming is based off of expectations, which is also false. I'm
Not
going
based
off of what
expectations,
I'm going off of.
based
No,
on your production.
I'm going off of what you normally put out, and what
Okay.
you and what you did put out, and what your production is. So that's why we go by your averages. So we go off of what you normally do, and what you do what you normally do on a consistent basis. We have a large sample size to say this is what you normally do. This is normal you.
Or
Were you
how-
your
how
normal
far
self?
off.
Were you underneath yourself, or were you above yourself? And if
Yeah,
you were
how-
if you were underneath yourself across the board, then you choked to me like Michael Jordan did. He was underneath himself across the board.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
we're
You're not gonna
if
find that
we're-
with LeBron.
Yeah, if we're measuring the degree of how much you underperform to your normal standard, right? So Jordan in that series was what, 27, 9 and 6, shot 49%. During the year, he averaged 35 that year, right? So he rebounded more than what he usually did.
Only thing he did more was rebound. Everything else was lower.
Hold on,
Everything else was
Johnny.
lower. I already
Hold
know
on.
this, Peter. Peter, I already did this.
Hold on,
You're
hold on,
gonna,
hold
you're gonna,
on,
you're
hold
gonna. Peter, listen to me. I already did this. His
I
points
know
were down.
you know.
His
I know
his
you
assi- No, everybody else knows this. This is Goat James Kingdom. This is the radar, but it's still Goat James Kingdom. His points were down. His assists were down. His steals were down. His blocks were down. His turnovers went up. His field goal percentage went down. His 3-point percentage was up because he took less 3-pointers and he made half of them. He played bad for 3 straight games, back to back, under 25 points per in that series. Got literally punked. Didn't want to play the game right. Then the next year was even worse. The only reason I give him a pass for next year instead of 1988 is because Detroit was better in 1989 than they were in 1988. So he faced a better team in 1989, but he still choked in 1989 as well.
So-
It's just that 88 was the worst one.
Okay, that's fine. But again, I was getting somewhere. I was going to point out we're measuring degrees here, right? Degrees of underperformance. So if we put that next to, I'm going to use the '08 series for LeBron, not the 2010 one. T Perfect gives him a pass. I don't, right? So what did LeBron average that year? Off of memory, I believe he averaged 31. I think that was his only scoring title that year, if I remember correctly, right? He ends up averaging, I believe, 22 that series. So
No, he averaged 20. He averaged 27 that series, sir. Stop lying on Goat James.
27. Hold on,
Yeah,
I gotta
stop
go
it.
look.
It was 26.7, sir, versus Boston in 2008.
2008, and he shot 35.5% for the series, compared to what did he shoot that year? Like 49%, 48%, something like that.
He shot
And then
35.5%. Yes.
Right, and then his turnovers. I think he averaged how many 5.5. He averaged
His-
5.5 turnovers, I believe, for the series.
Again, across the board, his numbers did not go down like
Compared-
Michael Jordan's. It did not, and in the
But
degrees and
they
measurement.
went down more. The
No,
field
they
goal
didn't.
percentage was. So Jordan went
yeah,
from
just- but again-
54% to 49%. So that's 6% dip, compared to 48% dipping down to 35.5. That's 13% dip. That's more, Johnny.
That's a again, Michael
That's
Jordan.
twice. That's twice
Again-
a bigger dip.
That's in
Is my
one
math
category.
off?
B-Lee,
That's
team
one
personnel.
category, nigga. That's one category. I said across the board. Go across the. Don't just sit there and
Whoa, buddy, calm down.
because you're asking me to answer a question, you're not letting me answer. Don't ask a question just for you to repeat. And if you got something to say, say it. So when it's my turn to speak, I'll speak. But don't ask me a question. Then when it's my turn to speak, you want to reiterate your nonsense. I said across the board. LeBron James didn't go across the board like Michael Jordan. The only thing that was up for Michael Jordan was his rebounds. Everything for LeBron James didn't go down. You're just bringing up his turnovers and field goal percentage. He was down 4 points from his average in the season. But what was his assists up? Was his rebounds up? Are you gonna go there? You're not going to that. That's my point. What else are you going to?
A
What else was
13%
up?
dip in field goal percentage. I mean,
Yes.
that's nasty.
Yes,
And then the
that is
turnovers?
nasty. Okay, the turnovers. He averaged 3.5
Hey, Johnny.
turnovers in the regular season.
I don't give a
Jordan's
shit about
turnovers
it.
went up.
Hey, Johnny, brother, we're past 40. We gotta, you gotta be careful how enraged you get. You never know what can
you guys
happen.
have to know. Listen, I don't have these type of conversations with people. I keep telling you guys don't know how to talk to people. I don't have patience. That's what he said. Exactly. I'm 43. I don't have the patience. I'm gonna sit here and listen to you, but you also have to listen to me. You guys have. Yeah, you don't. You know what? You're right, Travis. Enjoy the rest of the evening, guys. I'll see you guys on Sunday's show. Peace and blessings.
Jesus Christ, man. See, here's the thing, Pete. Like, that's
Man, that
kind
guy
of
had to
exactly
take a
what we wanted to
chill pill,
avoid with this show. Like, we wanted this to kind of be a different kind of a show where one man doesn't get to come in and, like, scream over people for hours, talk over. But, I mean, I think we can all get our points in where I don't think, like, if you just don't want to use the word choke at all, because I think that's bullshit saying you have to lose a series. If you, let's just say you find wildly underperform. There's no debate that LeBron was underperforming in each and every series that we mentioned. And again, that has nothing to do with, obviously, when Johnny's here, Michael Jordan's going to get brought up because that's, he thinks it's his trump card. But no one is going to say that Jordan performed above and beyond his expectations every single series, because that's false too.
I mean, but Travis, you're not saying someone choked in a series. You're saying someone choked in a game or two.
No, this is serious.
No, that's false.
He was.
You're
well, he's
really
using
you're saying that
2010,
you're
so.
saying that it has to be every single game.
I'm just
which
saying,
is
like,
nonsense.
I don't understand how someone could choke if they're performing above everyone else. That's what I'm saying.
Above everyone else. What are you talking about? You're talking
Okay,
about.
so let's go back to 2010, because 2008 we know the last three
It's
games.
relative to themselves.
Okay,
It's relative
the
to themselves.
last three games, LeBron James had 35, 32, and 45. So he was not choking in that series at the end. Like, I don't know what you mean choking a series away when you finished the series averaging 35, 32, and 45, averaging over 35 points per game. So in reality, he did not choke 2008 away.
Yeah,
right?
The smart
I
money
don't
says
know
that if he
how-
would have performed up to his standards for their games 1 through 4, they would have
They were 2-2.
took that serious.
They were 2-2. The last three games, I don't know how you could choke a series away when you're playing that well. I just don't know. So
What do you look
I
at
don't
you? Look at game
understand.
1.
Like, I don't
They lost-
understand. Okay,
They
but
lost game 1 and 2 by
2-2.
combined
They were
9
2-2.
points, dude.
They were 2-2. Okay,
They
were
lost
2-2.
games 1 and 2 by a combined 9 points.
He
While
did
LeBron
not
was
choke
playing
that series
historically
away.
bad.
He had 45 in Game 7.
Are you
He
not
did
even hearing
choke
what?
that series away.
That's just what he did last year.
That's what I'm
Pete,
saying. You're saying bad games mean that you choke a series away. That's
do
what
you not know how
mean.
series works?
A few
Series
bad
works
games.
because you win games.
Yes, you saying a few bad games. You choke a series away. Okay, I understand. Like, your definition of choking is not what majority of people think. Just like in 2010, he had 3 games that he played well in. He had the game 6 that he had 27, 19, and 10. So you're saying 2 of those games he choked the series away. That's
So you're
what
saying that it has to be every game played poorly to basically cause your team to lose a series. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying 2 out of 6 games does not mean that you're choking a series away. That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't
Yeah.
2 out of 6. What are you talking about?
Actually, in game 4, he led the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. I wouldn't say he's choking a game away. So you're only talking about one
Dude, he's
game.
also leading his team in usage percentage the entire time.
Okay, But you're talking about one game still. You cannot
No,
choke
we're
a series
not.
away with one game.
He performed horribly in those 3 games. When you're talking about,
He
I
did
don't care
not.
about
How the
rebounds.
hell you perform horribly when you have 27,
Hey, but
19, and 10?
B. Lee, even the '08 series, you gave him credit for that game 6, scoring 32, but he had 8 turnovers and was 9
Okay,
of.
he's a point guard.
Hold
He's gonna have
on, hold
turnovers.
on, hold on, B. Lee.
He's a point guard.
He
Yeah,
had.
that's where his assists
Hold
come
on,
from.
hold on. 8 turnovers and 9 of 23. That's a horrible game.
That is not a horrible game.
It's horrible.
Oh
That
my
is
god,
not a horrible game.
dude!
9
Put
for
your bias
23
aside,
with
Lee. What the hell are
how's
you
that a
talking about?
bias? How is 9 for 23 a horrible game? That's not a horrible game.
8 turnovers.
That is not a horrible game.
Do you know most?
That is not a
What's the
horrible
stat?
game.
Most NBA games are decided by what? T perfect, like what? 2 possessions.
Oh, I
Do
was
you
just
know
like
what?
points.
Do you know what 8 turnovers? How many possessions that is in a playoff game,
I mean,
and what
you can win a
implications
game
that
with
has?
10 turnovers. Like it
You
don't
can,
matter that you have 8
B.
turnovers.
Lee, if you have 8 turnovers, that's horrible. There's no way around that. And that's
Just
anybody. James Harden is another guy. He would get in the playoffs and have these high turnover games.
Let me
He's
ask you a
another.
question, B. Lee. So, B. Lee, in games 1 and 2, 2008, right? The Celtics or the Cavs lose by a combined 9 points. And you're telling me that if LeBron hadn't even just played average, they wouldn't have swept those
Average.
Celtics?
Yep.
no, they would not have swept the Celtics.
Why?
Would do better because they're
You're telling me
a
if he
really
didn't
good team.
score 12 points on 11% shooting in game 1, they don't win that game when they lost by 4?
I mean, he had a bad game. They would not have swept the series.
They would have been up 3-1.
He would. That's not. Come on, you said swept the series.
Sure.
I said
And
they would not have
look at
swept
game
the
2.
series.
Game 2,
All right, hold on a second. I'll be.
I
Yeah.
don't see that. See, this is where it gets,
Travis, you know what you gotta realize, because I've been doing this for the better part of 15 to 17 years with LeBron fanboys on different message boards. They're literally like the Walking Dead. Like once they get bit, like that's not B. Lee we talking to no more. That's not A. Johnny we talking to anymore. You get what I'm saying? They've been bitten, bro. Like any other player.
I agree. And this is what's sad about it, is because like you try to get to a point where you can just discuss basketball logically, but then because it's their favorite player or the name of the show,
I mean, it has
like,
nothing
you
to do
have
with
to-
LeBron James. It has
Yeah,
nothing
it
to do with
does.
LeBron James. You're saying someone who has 32 points is having a horrible game because they was 9 for 23.
And
That's
turn
not
the
a horrible
ball
game.
over 8 times.
So Brandon,
And
game
turn
2,
the ball over 8
Okay, he had
times,
12
B.
rebounds, 6 assists. He had 8 turnovers. Okay, he had 32 points. He had a +7. And you're
So
saying that he
Brandon,
played horrible.
so you already agree with me,
You're
Brandon.
saying that he played horrible.
That's
That's
terrible.
not
Brandon,
playing horrible.
Brandon,
That's
you
not
already
playing
agree.
horrible. I'm sorry.
You already agree with me that they win game 1, right? If he plays better. Game 2, he scores 21.
I mean, of course,
Listen,
if he scores 50 points, they win too. Like,
sure.
I mean,
Game
what does that
2,
have to do with
he
anything?
scores 21 points on 25% shooting, has 7 turnovers. They lose by 5. You're saying that if he doesn't play the worst game of his, of like maybe arguably other than the first game before that, they don't win?
I mean, they could have won. Who knows?
Again, you said you can choke and win. So how are you relying on him to win or not? Explain that to me, Travis.
What needs an explanation for that?
Why are you only sticking to losses when you say you can choke and win? So why are you blaming somebody has a bad game and that's why they lost? And when somebody can have a bad game and their team can still win, why are you not going to the team? What did the other team do?
So,
what did the team do? Why is you okay? That same game we're talking about, Travis. What did Wally Zerviak and them do? What did LeBron James' teammates do that game? Why is it on LeBron? That's my question to you.
Because
Why is it on
he's the
LeBron? So
guy.
Elgaska's shooting 75% from the field on 19 points per game, or 19 points for there. Zerbiak outshoots him 36%. Let's see who else here. Sasha Pavlovich.
Oh wait, shooting 36. So again,
36 is fine.
So no. So again, so if the teammate outperforms LeBron, that's a factor for you. But like I asked you earlier, when Brandon wanted to use that same factor, you said it didn't matter. Why does it matter to you, but it can't be matter to Brandon or I?
I think this goes back to the original topic, guys, is that we are asking each other. The topic was, in our opinion, who had the worst playoff meltdown of all time. He picked Kobe for the exact same reasons that I'm picking LeBron in
No,
2010.
I picked Kobe for how he ended the series.
Ended
He
it.
ended the series very awful.
He played poorly all 4 games.
No, he ended the series 3 games in a row bad. That's how he ended the series. You cannot
Did
show
Kobe-
in game 2.
Did Kobe, Travis, did Kobe outperform his teammates?
I think he might have been the leading scorer on that series, but he was shooting terribly.
Answer. See, this is why I have no patience. I ask you a very simple question. Suppose we were grown men. I'm gonna repeat myself again. Did Kobe outperform his teammates?
No, definitely not.
Okay. So Brandon did. So Brandon didn't use the same logic because the logic that Brandon used for LeBron James was LeBron James outperforming.
And I'm not using that logic.
Yes, you did, because you are. You're using that with Wiley Zerbiak.
No, I'm not.
You're using that with Wiley Zerbiak and Ilgauskas. You're saying that because they played better than LeBron, because Ilgauskas, what was
4 for 11.
Oh, that's for the game, right? What was the
he
game
was
again?
4 for 11.
Which game we at again? I want to make sure I'm talking about the right
game
game.
2.
This is game 2.
In 2008, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, game 2 in 2008 when LeBron James led his team in points. He led his team in assists.
Yes.
Okay, he led his team in steals. Okay, so you're saying Ilgauskas outplayed LeBron James with 19 points and 5 rebounds because he shot 9 of 12 and LeBron shot 6 of 24. Is that what you're saying, Travis?
No, what I'm saying is you're looking at Ilgauskas. He took half the shots LeBron, was twice as efficient. Obviously, he didn't get 24 shots like LeBron did. LeBron shot 6 of 24 for 25%. Sure, he had the most usage, highest usage on the team. That's why he was dictating the tempo. He had the assists, sure. 7 turnovers. Again, so LeBron, it's not, to me, underperforming has nothing to do with what your teammates are doing. It's what you've done, not even through that regular season. But
And hold on, wait.
leading
This
up to
game
that.
and this game was not a 5-point game. This was a 16-point
he
loss.
lost for 16. Yeah, he said 5. I don't know what he was talking about.
No. Okay, no, I was wrong now.
Maybe he was
mislooked.
talking
I'm looking
about
at game 1.
No,
game 1 we're in agreement on.
About a game.
Okay. So let's go.
Game
Let's go to game 1. Oh, let's go to game 1 then. Okay, LeBron James did shoot 2 of 18. He did have 12 points. He led his team in assists like normal, and that was it. He didn't lead his team in nothing else. He was second in rebounds. He was second in steals, and he was second in blocks. His team scored 72 points. He scored 12 out of those 72 points. Ilgauskas was 8 of 18 for 44% shooting, 22 points and 12 rebounds. So Ilgauskas had a good game. Delonte West was 2 for 10. Wally Zerbiak was 5 for 14.
Yep.
Matter of fact, the entire Cleveland Cavaliers team shot 30% as a team. So again, I'm asking you, how is it LeBron's fault again?
Which one of them shot 11%?
Also, because LeBron shot the worst as the main guy, taking the most shots against the guy with the scouting report where everything is tailored to stop him
with 10 turnovers.
Yeah, he's also the playmaker on the team. He
exactly.
I mean, Travis, you're saying that you lose.
And he was
playmaking for in game 1.
Travis, do you
more turnovers and assists?
Wait, Travis, do you understand that Ilgauskas had 2 turnovers and 2 assists? Do you understand Delonte West, the team's point guard, had 2 turnovers and 2 assists? Nobody on Cleveland basically was great as far as ball facilitation goes. As a team, they had 19 assists and had 18 turnovers.
Yeah.
LeBron James had.
Who's saying otherwise? Like you're arguing a moot point. Like no one's arguing.
No. I'm not arguing. I'm clarifying. See, this is your problem. When I argue, I expose. I'm trying to behave because this is your show. I don't want to expose you on your show. I just want to clarify. Okay? Because again, I'm asking you a simple question. If you can choke and win, that means your team plays well enough for you to absolve your choking. LeBron James here supposedly choked, but you think his team still played well enough for him to win. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, where?
again, relative to look at what the Celtics were doing.
You'd probably be talking about defensively and rebounding wise. And
No,
it's,
no. I'm trying to
keeping the
figure out.
game.
I'm trying to
So,
figure out
I'll
how
explain.
Delonte. Okay, I want to figure out how Delonte West 4 points and 2 assists was Delonte
Okay.
West
So
outperforming his
relative
normal
to what
output.
LeBron was doing, every single one. Obviously, he took the lion's share of the shots, which is to be expected. Okay, the Celtics were these were obviously this was 2008 Celtics, right? They had a top 5 defense. The Cavs had a top. So this is going to be defensive struggle from the breakdown. Celtics were definitely a better team. No one's saying otherwise. That's why I didn't even pick this series. In fact, when we first started debating this, I said I flirted with this series, but the reason I didn't pick it was because in the latter half of the series, LeBron picked his play up. This was against a far better team overall than the Cavaliers had, and this was a 23-year-old LeBron. This wasn't MVP LeBron yet. He didn't have his best year yet. That's why I didn't pick this. But if you want to nitpick and say, the Celtics were underperforming as well. Their best player, Kevin Garnett, yeah, he had a good game, but everyone was shooting relatively poorly, except for they shot 42% as a team. But again, they were taking.
Everybody shot above 50% besides 3 people. Travis, continue.
Yeah, Paul Pierce, 14%, 2 for 14.
Okay, did Paul Pierce choke this game?
He underperformed, quote unquote.
No, you said you
We
could
can't
choke.
say
And still,
choke.
you said you could choke and still win. I'm asking you, did he choke?
Yeah, you
So
want
he
to
shot-
say it like that?
Ray Allen was 0 for 4, 0 points. Did Ray Allen choke?
They won because Kevin Garnett had a fantastic game, shot 60%
No,
from the field.
they won because LeBron choked. You already stated why they won.
Yeah, and LeBron choked.
They didn't win. Boston had nothing to do with why they won. Boston had nothing to do with winning. You said you blamed the loss on LeBron. You said LeBron is why they lost.
Yeah,
So we
they were
should
playing.
stick-
Everyone,
so we need to
Cavs
stick. So we
played
need
great
to.
defense.
So
Cavs played great defense,
and LeBron had nothing to do with that defense. LeBron had nothing to do with the Cavs' great
no.
defense.
What are you talking
No.
about? LeBron was the best defender on their team. I just
Okay,
gave him
so-
full credit for that.
Okay. So you only could choke if you play bad on offense.
No, that's
No,
no
I'm
one's
just-
saying that either.
Okay. So I'm still trying to figure out how LeBron.
If they
lost
weren't
this
playing great
series.
defense, obviously they would have got blown out. LeBron,
Mm-hmm.
again, had his one of his worst playoff games of all time. No one's
Okay.
disputing that. Okay. My concern is if he didn't have, maybe he has like a few less turnovers. When does he have 10 turnovers? Never. Just that game, right? If he doesn't shoot that poorly, blah 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 blah. It's a big what if game, but you can't tell me that would have hurt their chances if he plays even average. That's a dumb take.
Again, LeBron James had a bad shooting night. He had a bad shooting night. That I'm not gonna take that away from you. I'm asking you a simple question, Trey. We're trying to figure out how you basically discern someone being the responsible reason to why their team lost because they choke, and not why they and why they win while they still choking. I'm still trying to figure out
so
how you
I wanna get
equated
it
that LeBron choked and his team lost because of his choking, but you do agree and do believe that someone can choke and their team can still win. And I'm looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers here, and everybody played bad. Delonte West was 2 of 10.
Sure, everybody played bad.
Travis,
Here's the
I'm
thing,
not.
though.
Travis, I'm not done. Travis, this is why I start yelling. You know what, Travis? Why do you have a problem when I start speaking? Why can't you let me just speak?
Because you just talk over one.
No, I didn't, because I asked you a question and now it was my turn to speak, Travis. It's my
Okay,
turn.
then don't ask me a goddamn question. Like, finish your question.
I didn't ask you a question. I told you. I said because I'm looking at them, and as I started breaking down what I'm looking at, because you haven't yet to answer the question. You have yet to answer to me how the Cavaliers played better, other than Wally Zerbiak. I mean, other than Ilgauskas. Where did they play good as a team to where you can blame LeBron James for why they lost?
Because it's a holistic argument. It's not just that they performed again only slightly better than LeBron. That's part of it, but he played so poorly that again, if like I said, if and when he played, let's say he even just played up to the standard of, let's just say, someone like Wally Zerbiak, where he didn't shoot 11% from the field, right, which was horrific. Let's say he shot 30% and had maybe 4 or 5 less turnovers. You can't say that they would have maybe had a good chance to erase that 4-point lead.
Yeah, because
and win the game.
No, because he would have less assists as well. If LeBron James has less turnovers, he's going to end up with less assists because he's making less. So they're going to also lose points there because he's not actually getting the 9 assists anymore.
I mean,
So
anybody
even-
lose a game. Anybody
Okay.
lose games when they have a bad game. Like, why is it so different from when LeBron do it?
No,
Like, he can't
that's what.
play great all the time.
But Brandon, my question, Brandon, do you understand my question? Let me ask you this, Brandon. How can somebody choke and still win because their team is playing well. But when hold on, wait,
LeBron,
wait, that's what I'm saying. LeBron played bad this game. I'm not saying he played well, but nobody on his team played good outside of Ilgauskas, and he's trying to say LeBron is why his team lost. And I'm looking at the team performance. The team within themselves shot 30%. They shot less than 30% as a team because Ilgauskas and LeBron took the same amount of shots. So if we take away Ilgauskas 8 of 18, the Cavaliers made 15 shots. They made 15 shots out of over 50. So as a team, they played bad. They played bad as a team. So I would understand if the team was playing well and they still lost, and you can blame LeBron, but the team played bad. So how can you understand that when a team plays good, that they can still win with a player choking, but you want to blame LeBron for a game that he played bad in, also the whole team played bad in? So how is it his responsibility to win?
It doesn't make sense.
Thank you.
He said Michael Jordan choked versus the Sonics in '96. He said he choked that series. He said if you have a bad game and you lose a series, you choke because you had that bad game. What Travis is saying just don't make sense to me. That's all it is. Like, his definition of choke is different from most people.
Oh man,
Yeah,
you guys can't be this dense.
That's why. No, they're being disingenuous, but
Very.
that's why a better choice of words would just be.
This is just like fanboyism at its worst.
Peter, let me ask you this question.
So look at the
Peter, let me ask you this
look
question.
at the
Did Michael
score of that
Jordan
game.
choke in 1986 versus Boston?
This wasn't a. You guys are the word. This wasn't a 120 to like 116. This was 72 to 76, bro.
I just want to ask him: did Michael Jordan choke in '86 versus Boston?
He underperformed, sure.
How the hell he underperformed?
You think
after
he
40 points a game?
underperformed in '86?
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you're saying, listen, it's all about, okay, when you look at this game, like this was the game we're talking about, right? Like I said, this was one of the lower scoring games.
I mean, he played badly in that third game. I think he was 9 of 30 or something.
Yeah, this is
like
when
that.
this is what makes me think that like you sometimes you don't really even know basketball because points and shots were at a premium here. Oh my god!
Took the whole series away.
No,
I don't know
points.
basketball.
This is specifically about this game. Johnny has raised some questions about it, and I'm attempting to answer. Points are at a premium here. Each turnover is magnified. Each assist, everything's magnified. Okay? No. Yes, Johnny's right. The entire team played poorly. Obviously, their best player, when your best player is only shooting 44%, that's probably not a great night. Yes. But historically, like LeBron's stat line here, yes, obviously there's more that goes into it. Like when you said like the team is gearing to stop you. But the team is always geared to stop the best player. Exactly. That doesn't change anything.
That's a non-starter of a
so
point.
when you have more turnovers,
no, it's not when we're comparing them to the players. Again, we're comparing them to the players that they're playing against on their team.
When you have more turnovers and assists, when you're giving the ball up at a historic, when you're shooting far worse than anyone else on your team, and that's just to juxtapose. And then you look at the other team too. Obviously, you're holding them below their season average hugely. They have like one or two guys. Ray Allen, horrible night. Paul Pierce, horrible night. Their best player obviously was Kevin Garnett. He carried that team. Sam Cassell was okay off the bench. But when you look at things like that, it was like I said, the points were so low. The defense was at such a point where everything's going to matter more than it usually would.
What was the score? What was the score again?
72 to 76, bro. Like,
okay, can I ask you when you're done, Travis? Can I ask you something when you're done, please, Travis? When you're done, can I ask you something, please?
Said, I don't know basketball, but he said Jordan choked in '96 versus the Sonics. But I don't know basketball. I don't know basketball.
I said he underperformed versus the Sonics.
No, you did not. You said he
Travis,
choked. You said yes.
Travis. Are you done with your point, right quick? Because I really want to answer. I really want you to answer this because I really got a good question for you since you were bringing up the.
Sure, ask your question.
Okay, is LeBron James's points and assists more valuable than anyone else on his team? Could it be also possible that if Delonte West went 4 for 10 and Danny Gibson went 3 of 6, and that's 6 points that the Cavaliers did not have from those two guys because they shot bad as well, they would have won the game 78-76? Is that possible? Or is it possible that if Delonte West or Boobie Gibson got 2 more assists, because altogether they got 3 assists put together, if those guys would have put 5 assists up on the board with 1 less turnover apiece, because they both had Boobie didn't have a turnover, West had a turnover. Is it possible that the Cavaliers could have won the game just from those guys giving the Cavaliers an extra 6 points?
Of course.
Okay, so then why are you blaming LeBron James?
Because
He's
let
the
me take,
one that was
Travis, let me
doing.
take this one, please.
Go ahead.
Hey Johnny, you do understand that there's nowhere we're gonna hold a LeBron James to the same standard as a Eddie House or a Boobie Gibson. You do get that, right?
No, I don't, because when I tell you that about 1988, you guys tell me about Scottie Pippen and the rest of the Jordan team.
When he was a rookie?
What?
Again, when I bring up the fact that Michael Jordan is the reason why his team lost because of his status, because we comparing Michael Jordan to being the league MVP. Michael Jordan, again, I gave you guys all of this. This is why I tell you guys I have to yell, because when I talk normally and this normal way, you guys don't hear me. The only time you guys actually hear A. Johnny is when I start exposing and start yelling and screaming. So again, I'm going to speak it clearly. Jordan was the league MVP. Jordan was all NBA, all defensive first team. Jordan was defensive player of the year. Jordan was the scoring champ. Jordan was all of this. So yes, I am going to hold Jordan to a different standard than I will the rest of his team. But as I
think you
get
any pushback from anybody on that.
There you go. Again, in 1988, the Chicago Bulls team played better than normal. The only person who played bad was Michael Jordan. I am looking at a series that we're looking at LeBron James's teammates playing horrible. They're playing horrible, and you want to blame LeBron James for his team losing. I brought up a series where Michael Jordan was the sole reason because he played horrible. No one else on his team played horrible. That's the point. Not only that, he played versus inferior competition to this team we're talking about in 2008 that LeBron James faced. And I'm not trying to make this a debate between who had a worse series or not. I'm just trying to point out how I determine someone choking or not. And when I'm looking at LeBron James in this scenario, LeBron James is not choking when he's 2 of 18 and everybody else on his team is shooting bad. That means everybody's playing bad. That means it's obvious Boston was the better team and they were keeping everybody from getting their shots. And they were keeping everybody down. But even with LeBron James playing under his normal situation, which was not worse in 2008 than Michael Jordan, across the board, as I stated before, he still took this team to a 7-game series. Jordan didn't do that.
His teammates did that, and that kind of undercuts your point because
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Johnny, you just spoke. Hold on. It seems to me when you're choking, you're doing it kind of relative to the level of the help that the teammates are providing. If that's the case,
no, I didn't. That's not what I did. No, that's not what I did.
Okay.
See again.
But
I told you it's against himself. Jordan was averaging 35 points. He went to 27. Jordan was averaging 2 steals, over 2 steals per game, and he averaged less than 2 steals per game. Jordan was the one that was averaging over a block and got less blocks. Jordan was the one that was averaging over 6 assists and didn't have the 6 assists. Jordan was the one that had his turnovers put up. Jordan was the one where his field goal percentage went down as well. I'm comparing Jordan to what Jordan normally puts up.
I don't think you want to bring up turnovers and field goal percentage. I think you need to leave those out.
I can't leave those out because I said across the board. Peter, don't cut me off, Peter. Don't cut me off, Peter.
To LeBron, then I think those should be left out.
No, I can't leave it out because I said across the board, didn't I? I said across the board.
I don't
understand how that's what he's talking. Do you understand that? Exactly. I said across the board. If that's the case, how about I leave out? How about I leave out Jordan's rebounds? That means everything Jordan did was worse. Let's leave it at that. Since you only want to use LeBron's field goal percentage and his turnovers, I'm going to take out the only thing Jordan did well in that series, which was rebound, and across the board, Jordan was worse. At every level. You got 2 categories.
I don't even care about 6. Those rebounds, because the way, again, we look at the game differently,
I know you don't care.
Hold on, let me make a point.
I don't care about your point. I don't care about your point. I don't care. I really don't care. You can speak it, but I don't care for it.
He's looking at the counting stats, right? You're being a baby, man. Relax, brother.
No, see, look, there you go with the name calling. Hold on, wait. How are you going to tell me that what I... Hold on, wait, Peter.
You
Peter,
just said you don't care about nothing I'm saying, and that's
you just said you didn't care about that. You just said that because you have a different philosophy. So why can't I have that same feeling? That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. You guys want us to care about how you feel while in turn looking at us, and because you don't like what we say I don't care about that. That doesn't make sense, Peter.
no, no,
All
no.
right, let's
Let me be
okay.
clear with my words. When I
Let's
say
go ahead and bring up
when
Mr. Winters
I'm
after you get your point across.
real quick, Billy,
After you get your point across, yeah.
if I'm assessing a player's impact on a series, right? I weigh way more heavily, right? How that player shoots from the field and the amount of turnovers they have, way more than some counting
Well,
stats.
yeah, because that's what matters.
Okay, right? Because that has way more a sizable impact on the outcome of the game than averaging 8 turnovers versus averaging 6. I don't give a fuck about that. I care about what is going to impact winning the game.
Yeah.
And if you turn the ball over 10 times in a game that both teams scored under 80,
Yeah.
that's a massive like
And
that is here. Hold on, that is Hiroshima, Nagasaki levels. That's seismic, horrific, apocalyptic
Hey,
garbage.
come the hell on and just say what you got to say.
dude,
Just get your point off.
when the
He
worst
had
or when the best player on
a
your
bad
team,
damn game. He had a lot of turnovers in one
when the
game.
best
Come
player
on,
on your
man.
team is shooting
Like,
44% and that's
you
30% better
guys
than what you're shooting.
are not even making sense. You're trying to say that one game you could lose a series. Like it don't even make sense. So let's go ahead and bring up Mr. Winter, see what he has to say.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Salute everybody. Salute Go James Kingdom and Johnny and everybody in the chat. I'm thinking. So what? I just got here. I'm assuming we talking about 2008.
Well,
Travis
not
is coming
initially.
back and forth. So he's saying that LeBron had the worst choke jobs of all time in 2008 and 2010.
2008, 2010. Well, I say that the Cavaliers choked, and that would include LeBron in 2009, 2010. His last 2 years in Cleveland, where they were 60-win teams, and they didn't even make it to the. Are you
Well,
talking about?
here's what happened, Mr.
To
Winter, is
the
I initially the argument was or the debate was we each decided who was our choice for worst playoff single season or single series choker. He picked '04 Kobe. I picked 2010 LeBron. I was gonna pick '08 because of his first 4 games, which were probably the worst of his career. But I decided not to because the context was he was facing probably the best Celtics team ever, one of them, and he was only 23. He wasn't MVP LeBron yet, so I picked 2010, where I think he started off strong, but then he had 3 well below average games, including Game 5. That was my assertion. That was my only assertion. But
Okay.
he's saying that it's impossible to first. Johnny said it's impossible to choke unless you lose a series, which they did lose a series 2010, but we're saying underperformed.
Okay, Mr. Winters, what do you think choking is? Let's just get that out the way. What is choking to you in a playoff series?
Choking in a playoff series is when you like we talked about this on FYF a long time ago. Like for instance, last year, Denver was a defending champion, correct? And they were in a second round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they had a 16-point lead at halftime, and they blew that 60-point lead and ultimately lost Game 7 to the Milwaukee Bucks at home. Being a defending champs, I say, even though Joker had a really good fourth quarter, obviously it wasn't enough to win. I say the Nuggets as a squad choked, and that would include Jokic. So, in essence, Jokic did choke because you would look at his stat line and say, phenomenal. He had a great, but he didn't do enough to win. So, I guess if you're looking at the '08 Cavalier,
Well, hold on. So you're saying choking is not doing it enough to win, even if you have a good game?
Yeah, because ultimately you didn't convert. That's the thing about sports. Your
I mean,
performance
so every time you lose a series, you choke.
every time. If you have the series in your hand, if you have it and you let it slip away, I would call that choking.
Even if you play well.
Yeah, I mean, if you had good if you had great stats, and I guess you can. I mean, I guess it would look like you played well, but you still didn't do enough. Yeah, I'd have to say that you.
I mean, y'all definition of choking is just completely from what I think. That's why. So
Yeah,
I
like
think
Yeah,
choking is if you're underperforming
Cavaliers.
from your standard. But if you're performing above your standards and your team still lose, it's kind of hard to me believe that someone choked. If someone's averaging 40 points per game, like Jordan was average versus Boston at 86, I wouldn't call Jordan choking that seriously.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Jordan had a lot of flaws to his game, though. Jordan at that point, if we're talking about the Celtics, the game where he scored 63 points, Jordan was back at that time. They was a little bit of a ball hog, was a little bit of a guy that would, that his shot hadn't developed yet, so he was always like in the paint, and he was known to like let his teams get out of let his teammates get out of rhythm because he used the ball so much. So I
He
think
didn't
that
have he didn't have the team. I don't know. You guys in this choking stuff, it just don't make any sense to me because
but
everyone's definition of choking is completely different, and
on the flip side
it's
of it,
just not going to be consistent.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying
Mine's very consistent.
Yours is definitely not consistent.
It's super
That's the
consistent.
problem.
No, because it applies to everyone.
You said Michael Jordan choked in '96 when they won the series. I don't understand that. That just don't make any sense to me.
you can't. Yeah, how do you choke and win?
I don't make any sense to me, Travis. Like, how
No.
can you even think that's a real thing?
hey,
Okay, so
shout out,
Mr. Winters, you want
shout
to
out
hear
Gary
what the
Payton.
question was?
Can I give a definition when y'all done?
So, Mr. Winters, what they asked me initially was, did Michael Jordan choke and win in '96? And I said, literally, I said, yeah, Michael Jordan had a well below average series for himself, but he shot like 42% from the field, well below his season average and
Yeah.
the playoff average before that. That's what I said. And they still won because his team was
No, you
unaffected by
said
it.
Michael Jordan choked. That's what you said.
Okay, so if we can't, so you don't want to use the word choking in any situation, then
No,
so let's just
you
say
said
underperform.
Michael Jordan choked, and I said I cannot understand your definition of choking because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how can you be the Finals MVP, outplay your team, and you choke and you win an NBA title. That does not make any sense to me. I'm
So
sorry.
that's why I said if you want to attack the word choking and let's just say underperformed across the board, then sure, let's say that underperformed.
Yeah,
No one
that's
said he didn't
just get
perform
rid of
well
the choke word.
You have a problem with the word
It's
choking. Okay,
because
so
your
let's just say
choking
yeah,
is your
Michael
choking is
Jordan
10 different
underperformed in
things.
'96.
Your
They still
choking is
won.
10 different things. That's the problem.
No, it's not.
Underperforming.
10 different things. I had said underperform relative to what you were doing that season
I mean, you're
and
trying to change
serious
it
leading
up
up.
because you know what you said was wrong. Like you're trying to change it up
How
now.
is it
It's
wrong?
fine.
What the
No,
fuck are
it's
you
fine.
talking
It's
about?
fine. You can change it up now. It's not choking anymore. I understand. You
No, I
was
outlined.
educated on what you said, and now you don't believe what you said again.
No, you're just being
No,
like
you don't
you're being
believe what you
obtuse,
said
dude. Like,
early. You don't believe what you
what are you
said
talking
early, and
about?
that's
What I
all.
said earlier.
You said Michael Jordan choked in '96 versus the Sonic's, and now you're saying he did not. So
I
you do
said he
not believe the words
underperformed.
that are coming
It's the
out of your mouth.
same exact thing.
No, you don't believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. That's the problem. But
What do you mean I don't believe it?
you don't because you just switched it up. Ishmael, you said you want to say something, even though Travis is going back and forth.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Okay.
And say what you have to
Yeah.
say.
I thought choking is simple. I don't think it has anything to do with underperformance because I would think as a fan, teams construct like as a fan and watch, teams can sometimes construct like certain game plans or schemes in order to have players underperform. And so players are not going to be perfect all the time. I thought choking was always when the game is on the line or you're in a sense of pressure and you make a bonehead play to make your team to lose. If somebody would say like LeBron choked against Chicago the other night in the game, we had a terrible pass. I would say, okay, that's like choking, right? And you basically make a bonehead play and it causes your team to lose and it's under pressure. That's why people say choke because it's like that's basically what it is. But it's like I never thought like a whole entire game because you play bad that means you're choking. No, it's just I would think it's mostly bonehead plays or moments that causes your team to lose under pressure, and it's just like you're literally choking.
Mm.
I mean, I don't have any problem with that. That's a good idea. My whole thing was when we were talking about this subject before the show. Said, okay, what was the biggest playoff meltdown of all time? You are the one who started throwing around the word too. I'm cool if you want to say underperformed, and that can apply across the board. You're the one saying that LeBron can never underperform ever, and I'm saying everyone has done it. I'm baseline
That's
here.
exactly what I said. I said everyone has bad games. Everyone
Yeah,
has
but
bad games in the playoffs.
I think, but Beasley, I think the original from what I read, the title was based on playoff series,
Yes,
and
a
then
series.
we're basically
Meltdown.
right, and
Playoff
then
meltdowns in series.
playoff meltdown, and then that's being judged by what a person does in a particular series, and we're measuring
Mhm.
the degree of how poorly that person performed in that series. So, for example, you selected Kobe in 2004, which he was terrible, right? But I'm sure a Kobe fan could come on here and give you a million reasons as to why. Oh, well, the Detroit Pistons did this and he schemed that way, and then his baby mama was doing this and he stubbed his toe and blah 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 blah, blah, right? So, no, it's basically picking a series where a guy was historically bad. And LeBron was historically bad in when we were judging on a
Yeah,
superstar
he
level.
was
Just
historically
like,
bad
hold
when
on,
in
hold on.
2008 or
Just
2010.
hold on. And
No,
I,
2008
I
or
say,
2010.
oh wait. I say,
Oh
oh
wait,
wait.
okay.
Just like Ewing was historically horrible in '94. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we all got our favorites, but I mean, you got to call a spade a spade. If a guy shoots 35% for a series, along with 6 turnovers a game, that's bad. That's horrible. There's no way around it.
I think you can contribute to your loss. You can contribute to the loss that your team took without choking. I think you can do that. You can be not the reason that you lost, but you can be part of the reason that they lost.
Yeah. I mean, even what Lamont says here, I don't disagree with that. That the
Okay.
team plays.
All right. So I understand what Peter is saying because that game one wasn't good. But the last 5 games of that series, LeBron averaged 31 points per game, 7.5 assists, 6 rebounds. I wouldn't say that's historically bad. That's what I would say.
Game 6 wasn't good either. That was
Game
bad game 2.
game 6, he had 32 points, 8 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and they won the game. That is not historically bad. I'm
9
sorry.
of
That is
23.
not historically bad. 9 of 23 is not historically bad.
And this was
See,
what
you guys want to say stuff that doesn't make any sense. You're saying
I'm being
historically
consistent.
bad. You're not being consistent at all. If that's historically bad, no one is a good NBA player.
No, how many times does
What
a
the
player
hell?
have 8 turnovers in a game,
No one is
Beasley?
a good NBA player if
How many
historically
times does
bad.
a superstar player have 8
Okay.
turnovers in a game?
No player he had 8 turnovers. He had 32 points, 12 rebounds,
Yeah,
6
you just
assists,
breeze
and they
by
won
the
the
8
game.
turnovers.
And they won the game. That is not
Despite
historically bad. I'm sorry.
him. But look, with my standard, I'm not even factoring winning or losing the game.
Of course not, because
right.
it
That's
doesn't
wait,
make
hold
sense.
on.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't make
that's
sense if
why
you do.
I'm being consistent.
That's not
I'm
consistent.
Yes, I'm judging strictly how that individual player performed in a given series or a given game, independent of outcome.
Okay.
That's what I'm going off of.
So he had a +7 in that game, a game score over 21, 32 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, and they won the game. And you're trying to tell me that is historically bad because
No,
he had 8 turnovers. That's what I'm saying. It does not make any sense.
Billy, I said the series was historically bad.
Okay,
don't do that.
So the series is historically bad.
Yes, he had a historically bad series.
Well, that let me ask, because it's like when you do that, you got to do like relative towards like the series about everybody. How did everybody else do? Like,
So Ismail,
all right. So his series, which was historically bad, he had averaged 27. He had 5 turnovers, 7.6 assists a game, 6 rebounds a game, and that was historically bad.
And shot 35%.
What did everybody else do?
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
It does
He
Doesn't
matter.
shot.
matter.
Okay, so you're
Like,
saying that's historically
like
bad.
for me, Ismail, I'm saying for me it does. Like for what, like Ewing in '94. I
that's
don't
a
think. Well,
different
what
year,
I don't.
different
No, this is what I'm
series,
saying. This is what I'm
different
saying.
pace.
I don't
Like,
care what. I don't care what. John Starks and Hubert. What his name? Hubert Davis. Whatever his goddamn. I don't care.
I'm telling you why that matters, because performance is relative. If you're looking at performance is relative towards the series at that time. You got to see what everybody else did. You just can't say that you're just bad compared to another guy
I
20-something
mean,
years
it
ago.
doesn't make any sense. So I'm looking at some more stats. So I'm taking the last 5 games of the series. Like I said, he averaged 31 points per game. He had a plus or minus of 43, so he was a plus 43. Over a block,
What for
over
the
2. No,
series?
the last five games, which you said he was historically bad. So, like I say, he had a plus 43 those last 5 games. 8.6 average plus a minus. It was a plus. 31 points per game, 1 block, 2 steals, 7.5 assists, 6 rebounds. He shot 41%, and you're trying to tell me that's historically bad, and he underperformed that series.
The only person
It doesn't make any sense.
Let me
Are you
ask,
talking
because
about
the only,
2008?
let me say it, because like
Yes,
Paul
2008.
Pierce like
What the hell?
shot 40%. Are you talking? This is 2008, right? Because Paul
Yeah.
Pierce shot
You
40%.
just lied about his stats, but it's fine.
How I lie about
Paul,
this? I took the last 5 games of the series.
Nah,
The last
he
5
was
games?
right, Travis. He went
Yeah,
last
No,
5.
the last
He was
5
right.
The
games of the
last
series.
5 games, they were 3-2. So,
but I'm trying to, because Paul Pierce was 40% with 19 points a game. Rondo was 42 with 10 points a game. Ray Allen 32%, 9 points a game, and KG was the only one with like his field goal that was nice. It was 54 on 19 points per game. So it's like, and then it's like everybody else is not really scoring a lot, especially for that time. So it's like, I'm
Ishmael,
just
if you
saying that's
did
what I'm
that,
saying.
then nobody choked, because that means Kobe didn't choke then.
No, that's because you gotta go based on.
Or
That's what I'm saying.
Kobe
You gotta
didn't
go based on
underperform
relative
then?
that time.
So
You can't
all right,
just.
so what did Rick Fox do in 04? What did
I don't know.
Gary
I have to
Payton
look,
do?
you gotta look at.
What did
I gotta
Karl
look it up.
Malone do? I know Karl Malone was
Derek Fisher.
horrible. Derek Fisher was horrible. Like, come on, guys. Like, we're talking about the cream of the crop, the best players. No one gives
You can't just
darn.
compare
you're
it
saying
like that.
someone perform who is
You
No
can't
one
just
cares
averaging 30
about
points.
no one cares about Hubert Davis and Eddie House.
You don't care. No,
and
you
nobody
don't care.
cares,
You
bro.
don't care. You don't care. If you're talking about analyzing performance, it has to be based off that time. You can't just compare somebody from 90s and 2008. That's like 20 years apart. Like, that's a big difference. Like, that's what that's all I'm saying. It's like, or 90s
No,
and
Ismail,
80s.
I wasn't addressing the air attacks. I'm addressing the role players, are pointing out what some role player did. I'm saying that is irrelevant. Because when we talk about horrific series, worst series, nobody's gonna pull up a series from Olgan Polynice averaging 2 points on three.
Okay, I understand. I got you. But I got you, but I'm just saying, like, even
this is
compared
not the
against,
right
like,
series for you guys to use in
I'm just
2008.
saying,
It's just not.
against the big four, like the whole big four, nobody else on the opposing side like did even better like that. Maybe KG, but he still only averaged 19. So I'm just saying, like it wasn't.
So what's LeBron's worst playoff series then, Ishmael and Beasley, in your guys' opinion?
I mean, his worst one is versus the Mavs.
His worst?
Easily. I mean, 2010 and 2008 is not. I don't know how you guys say that.
Hold on. So Ishmael,
well, hold on. Let me
for you.
hear Beasley. Let me hear Beasley real quick. T Perfect. Why do you rate the 2011 his worst series?
Because he could have easily done more to win that series.
What do you mean?
I mean, he could have done more to win that series. That's all.
Didn't he lead his team in like assists? Was it
rebounds?
Steals, rebounds?
I don't think he led in rebounds, but I mean, he could have done more. He only averaged 7 assists and 7 rebounds. I mean, he could have done.
Those
more.
are his averages, right?
Yeah, he could have done more in that series.
He couldn't have done more in 08?
I mean, the last 5 games was averaging 31 points per game.
What do you mean the
versus
last 5 games?
the last 5 games of that series, he was averaging 31
So
points per game.
Ishmael, do you want
I
to
mean,
hear this?
how can you choke a series away
Yeah, I'm
when you're
listening.
averaging the last 5 games 31 points per
So
game?
when he says the last 5 games, what he means is like the last 2 games. So here's game
No, the
one,
last 5
Ishmael.
games.
No, Ishmael, check it out. Games 1 through 4. In games 2, 3, and 4, he scored 21 points he was averaging like 27% shooting. In game 1, he scored 12 points on 11% shooting. When he says the last 5 games, what he means is he had 3 well above average games, the last 3 of the series, and he's counting the averages in there. But games 1 through 4, he was abysmal by his own standards. Okay,
You can.
That's what he
You
means.
know what? That might.
One can
You know
make it
what?
at
I mean,
2007 finals.
games 3 and 4, they won.
So they
That
won
might
despite
be-
him.
Because like 2011, like he underperformed, but it wasn't like his shooting, was just so bad. Because
What if Kobe had done that? Right, he would be crucified.
Kobe done it a lot of times, and he
What are you
was
talking
not.
about? Kobe has
That's the
played
problem.
bad.
Exactly.
He played terrible versus the Mavs,
It's a
and
shot
no one
show,
brings
right?
it up. He played bad versus the Mavs, and no one brings it up.
Ismail, you brought up a little bit earlier, right? That for you, you kind of judge it relative to what other guys are doing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So let's take a gander at D Wade's statistical output in the 2011 finals, right? 27 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. I'm going off memory here, so and from what I recall, 55% shooting. Through 4 games, he was at like 32, 8 and 7, shooting like a ridiculous field goal, but like 62, something crazy, right? So I don't necessarily disagree with B. Lee with 2011 because when you have a guy next to you performing like that, and in a pivotal game 4, you can only muster up 8 points, and then for all of the fourth quarters of that series, you basically I think he averaged 2 points in the fourth quarters for that series. So that was a horrible series too.
Well, you can.
So
All right, what I'm saying is that he clearly got outplayed in 2011 by other players on his team and opposing team.
Yeah.
So it's like I understand that if B. Lee saying this is worst series, it's either that or I don't know, because it's like the only series I see he's got like maybe 2 or 3 bad series.
07.
Unless you're talking about the Spurs series and 07.
we give him a pass.
Celtics series
He
is no.
get a pass for the 07. He was a baby.
No. The Celtics series is a no. I don't understand why y'all even brought that up.
I think it's just I think it's the field goal percentage. That's pretty much
and the turnovers.
Yeah, like 2010 is not that bad.
I mean, you talk about the turnovers. He had 8 turnovers that you keep harping on, and they won the game. So apparently, the turnovers didn't cause them to lose the game. He won that game.
That makes total sense because players have never played bad and their teams have won. Right? That's a dumb take, Bealey.
How's that a dumb take? You're saying that he could not have 8 turnovers, but he did, and he won the game.
You're saying that because he played badly, but they won.
He can have a lot of turnovers that he can still win because he's doing a lot of other things. He's not just turning the ball over, standing in the corner. He's scoring points. He's
he's also shooting poorly. You're right.
He's blocking. They won the game.
Yeah, they won the game.
How did he play poorly? And he led them to win the game with 32 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists.
You're saying that it doesn't matter what he does, and if they win, it's on him. That's exactly what you're saying.
He played well, and they won the game.
What about when he played? What about when he played poorly and they won the game? In games 3 and 4, he was playing abysmal.
In 3 and 4, he didn't play up to his normal standards, but he did enough for his team to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, there we go. It's on him. He did enough, not his team.
He did do enough to win the game.
Okay.
Hey, B. Lee, if you're in any other profession besides public relations, you missed your calling, my friend.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. The guy.
Cause you're a spin doctor. You good at spinning.
You should be a psychologist.
I don't know how I'm spinning. I don't know what they even supposed to mean.
Okay.
You said games 3 and 4. Okay, yeah. I mean, he didn't do all that great.
I mean, okay, game 3. He had a plus of 29. And you're
Here
trying to
we
tell
go.
me
This
that
plus.
he didn't play
Wow.
well.
Oh no,
In
Beasley,
game 4,
don't do
he had a
that.
plus
Oh
15.
no.
So he was not causing his team to lose.
You heard it here.
He was not
Ishmael.
causing his team to lose the game.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
That don't even make any sense. He was
Yeah.
not causing his team to lose the game.
You're right.
He
It
was
wasn't
positive on the
Delonte
court.
West shooting 63%,
Yeah.
Ben Wallace 66%, had 21 points. It wasn't El Goskis again coming through with 50% shooting. Well, everyone on his team out shooting him. Every single
Everyone
person.
on his team is out shooting him over.
In those 2 games, Beasley, you trying to tap dance, but we gonna hold you right here.
Yeah, and
We gonna
those
stay
two
right
games,
here.
he led. I know in game. I'm looking at game 3. He led his team in points, steals, blocks.
Oh, he was tied with points with Delonte West.
Like I said, steals, blocks, assists, and he had the highest plus or minus on the team with a plus 29.
Yeah, and he shot 31%.
I'm just saying, that's not playing historically bad. That's not playing bad at
because
all.
You
That's
do
not
understand
playing
that
bad at all.
Billy,
Not
you
playing
understand
bad
that
at all.
plus minus
That's
is a
not
team.
playing bad at
You
all.
do understand that plus minus is a team stat, right? So if your team is carrying
He's not
you,
playing bad, and his game score was over a 20. He did not play bad in that game. I'm sorry, he did not play bad.
Yes, he
According
did.
to NBA stats, he did not play bad in that game, and
Yeah,
they
he did.
won. So
Well, according to people who know basketball, he played terribly.
Apparently not. Terrible. Yeah, okay. Let me go look at game 4.
No. Stay in game 3. We're not through.
I just told you everything. In game 4, he led his team in points, led a team in blocks and steals, assists, and he was second
Usage
in
rate.
boards.
Missed
And
shots.
they won the game.
Yeah,
How
we
is
tried to
that
shoot
a
298.
bad game? How is that a bad game? I don't understand how that's a bad game. Like
If you're not eligible enough
Like
to know
I
that,
said, the
Billy,
last
because he
5
stat
games-
padded, he had a good game.
you guys are
I don't think anyone's gonna agree with you on that.
all over the place. No one's going to agree with me that LeBron did not have a bad game. No one's going to agree. When
You don't think
led
that
his
Bron-
team in majority of the stats and they won the game,
Yeah, they won the game.
he had a bad
despite him.
game. Despite him leading them in almost every stat but one.
Bro, anytime you shoot below 32%, you had a bad game. And you're the alpha on that team, I don't care what your stats look
That
like.
doesn't even make any damn sense.
It makes total sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
And your entire team outshoots you? Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's the way it is, man. That's basketball. I could get 20 assists passing to people who are making their shots. If I'm not, it doesn't matter.
That literally doesn't make any sense. Right?
The team was making their shots. He was getting assists that way.
I don't know if you're trolling or are you being serious. It just don't make any sense.
What?
You're
in complete denial.
I'm in complete denial because
Yes.
someone led his team in majority of the stats and they won the game and he was a positive on the court. You're trying to tell me that that's a bad game.
What happened to the Kobe talk?
Nobody care about fucking Kobe. Fuck about fucking Kobe.
Well, we came to the consensus,
Yeah,
Ishmael,
but
that
see,
Kobe
we
Y'all
was
just saying
nobody-
stupid shit now, man.
Kobe
Ishmael,
was
Ishmael,
I'm
we
just
don't
dumb
have
because you guys are
consensus
saying
top 10.
stupid shit.
There
I'm
are
just
no
dumb.
delusional Kobe fans up here trying to cap for his 04 horrific finals performance, like B. Lee and A. Johnny was for LeBron. So that kind of died there.
Yeah.
Don't even make any sense.
You know what, Ishmael? You know what's also Ruch? Ishmael is if I would have picked any other player, like I could have picked Shaq or somebody else and like went on them. We would
Every
have been off
time
the
you
air by now.
say something, I debate you on it, and you're wrong every time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter who you pick. We talk about other players the first 2 shows.
I could have picked any other player.
I still, if whatever you would have picked, I would have made sure you was wrong, just like you're wrong with this one. You should have picked 2011 Mavs. That's the only one you could have picked that I would not have said anything. But you're sitting up here saying that someone who is having a 27-point game, 19 rebounds, 10 assists is a bad game.
Man, they call me a stat merchant. Like what?
That doesn't even make any sense.
Hey, Ishmael, it's just like for me, Jordan, I said we. The Bulls beat us in 97, right? But
So wait,
Jordan
B. Lee, are you saying, hold on, I'm sorry, Pete.
Go
But
ahead.
I got to ask him real fast. So, B. Lee, are you saying that Johnny's take on 1988 Jordan is full of shit? Because that's the exact thing that you just used for LeBron.
What's that?
When he says that Jordan choked and that's the reason he lost was because he wasn't averaging his 35 points per game, even though he led every team or he led both teams in scoring, field goal percentage, I believe he led his team in rebounds. Steals, but he underperformed according to his own things. So he choked, right? That's exactly what LeBron did
When?
in
When
2008, dude.
when did Michael? Then when did LeBron James have 3 straight games at the end of a series where he completely underperformed?
2010.
When else did he do that?
At the end of a series.
Yes, that caused them to lose lose
Well,
the
I mean,
series.
obviously 2011 when he
2010,
was utter
2011.
trash. 2007 probably. Well, he was bad the whole series then too.
What about
It's not like
2008? You keep bring it up.
listen.
So
LeBron
why
is.
have you brought up 2008?
I told you I didn't pick 2008 because he recovered and and like his last 2-3 games were fine, and I didn't pick it because he was facing a way better team.
And he wasn't the MVP LeBron.
Yeah, he wasn't MVP.
Yet.
He was 23 years old. Like he wasn't 2010 defending MVP LeBron with home court advantage, choking.
And by the way, that 2010 Cavs team is a top 15 net rating team of all time.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about it. Like I said, LeBron James had that one bad game in Game 5.
Okay.
But,
so that means
I
we
see
can
it a little
dispel that
different.
Jordan.
Like I was gonna say to Ishmael, like for me, the Bulls beat us, the Miami Heat in 97, but Jordan was horrible that series.
Yeah, Jordan was horrible that series.
He was horrible. He shot 35%. Like I guess some people value some things more than others. For me, the way how a player shoots from the field demonstrates to me how effective he's been and how if he's dominating the game. So like if a guy's averaging like 35 and shooting 56%, to me, just looking at that, that's just utter dominance.
Exactly. It's not like it's 2017 Westbrook where we don't care what he's doing because he's shooting his team out of games because he's putting up like a.
But if you're shooting 35% like Jordan did against the Heat in '97, even though you won and you probably did other things, like you struggled, you were bad.
Yeah, and his team he wouldn't have won if his team wasn't great defensively there. It's same thing with Westbrook. That's why he didn't win because he was putting up like 30-point triple doubles on like 42% shooting.
Don't mean that you're dominating anybody. That has never been a thing.
That does. Depends on your volume. Depends on your volume. Yeah, it does.
Your body, right.
Like last year, LeBron shot almost 6% versus Denver. That don't mean nothing. There's more than just shooting a high percentage.
He did dominate that series, but the problem is in the fourth quarter. He did in the fourth quarters. He just played. He played.
Now it's a different narrative because now we're going down to the fourth quarter. It's not the field goal percentage anymore. Now it's the fourth quarter because y'all are all over the damn place. Be consistent.
I just said he played well in that series. Did you not hear that part? I'm pointing out what happened in the fourth quarters as to why you guys lost, because part of it is not all on LeBron. I don't know if Darvin Ham had the cachet to run the sets to feature Anthony Davis, because you guys were in the lead in every game. Was that last year or was that 23?
Yeah,
that was last year. Right?
Like you said, field goal percentage means that you should win all the time.
No, you know that's not what I said.
Don't do that either.
Don't do
it's
that.
All field. You said you only look at field goal percentage. You just said you only look at field goal percentage, and now you're talking about in the fourth quarter. You're all over the place. You're not being consistent. First you say it's field goal percentage. First you say field goal percentage. Now you're trying to narrow things down.
You gotta play the game fair, Billy. You're not playing the game fair. No, you're not playing it fair because you say one thing and then you say another. No, I said
you say
for
one
me.
thing, then you say another. For me, it's field goal percentage. If you don't shoot well, you're not having a good series.
I didn't say it was the end all be all. What I said
now
was
it's not the end all be all. Okay.
It's not.
But it's the end all be all with LeBron James in 2008
but
and in
if
2010.
I see a guy, if a guy's averaging 35 points,
that's not the same thing because it's a different story.
No, I said he dominated.
Okay, I know. Yeah, you're right.
I said he dominated that series. Me bringing up the fourth quarters was about the team and the outcome of the series, not necessarily him as an individual. Yeah, he dominated that series. Well, he shot 60%? Average like 57?
No, Brennan, you know for a damn sure though too. Like if Joker was averaging this what he did, but he wasn't shooting 60% from the field. He was shooting like 36 or 37, whatever he was shooting, but he wasn't shooting 40% from three. He was abysmal in his shooting splits. He wouldn't even be sniffing an MVP right now. It's because he's been historically good in those metrics. It's the same thing. Like you're not an offensive threat if you can't put the ball in the hoop. I don't care what your rebounds or assists look like, unless that's all you're doing, unless it's your job. When you're the alpha, when your job is to lead your team in scoring, then that does matter. It's not like we're saying that Braun hasn't done other things, but when you're shooting your team out of games and they can't rely on you offensively, that's a huge difference, especially when points are at a premium, like the series we were talking about.
People win championships and finals MVP shooting 40%, 41%. That doesn't cause them to lose the game. So y'all narrative on field goal percentage is the reason people win or lose is just not correct. Because we have facts, we have stats that prove you guys are wrong. Just like
You're
LeBron
saying when teams don't outshoot other teams, they don't win.
Just like you're saying, Michael Jordan choked in '96 versus the Sonics, even though they won the series. I mean, it don't make any sense.
You don't think that Michael Jordan performed in '96?
He went from 27 points per game when he was averaging what, 29 in the regular season? The hell, 2 points.
Okay, and what was his field goal percentage?
Everything else, though, is the shoot, the field goal percentage.
Like I said, y'all talk about field goal percentage. Like, people win shooting 40% and win Finals MVP shooting 40%. What
You're talking about isolated instances, dude.
But
isolated is what?
No, but they didn't win those games.
I'm about to look at what Jaylen Brown shot in the finals.
So Mike averaged 30 points a game in '96. Okay, and he shot. He shot 50% from the field.
Let me go see what Jaylen Brown averaged in the finals last year.
So just another thing you don't know, but I mean, it's 30 points per game on 50% shooting '96, and he shoots 42% from the field. So his field goal percentage dips way down. But he was doing other things. He was also playing great defense that series on Gary Payton and vice versa. That was a top 10 defense in the league.
That is
going against Mike with the DPOY.
Shout out GP, one of the greatest defensive guards to ever do it, because he did a job on Jordan in that series. Because
he really did.
Remember, they were up 3-0, right? So they had some house money to play with. Now in games 4 and 5, Jordan was terrible, and they lost both those games.
Yeah, he was.
Right. It just so happens that in game 6, he played a relatively good game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to close the series out.
How did he play a good game in what? In game 6?
Game 6, yeah. He was horrible in games 4 and 5, and he was pretty decent in game 6.
Let's see how he played in game 6.
Yep. Exactly. So Danny Mac, tell me when
game 6, he shot 33%. But he played well.
Hold on, my
relatively
bad.
well.
I think I misremembered. Let me go back.
No, he shot 26%. Wait, 26%. Yeah, Michael Jordan shot 26% in game 6, and you're saying he played relatively well. Okay.
Who said that?
I mean, we all heard it.
I made a mistake. Perfect. I thought he shot like 40. I was going off memory. I thought he shot like 45% in game 6.
45% is relatively well in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's relatively.
That is relatively well.
Okay.
Yeah, but you said he shot 26% in game 6.
Yeah.
So Bealey, if I shoot 48% for a season,
let me see what Kobe Bryant shot in game 7 in 2010 when he won, because people don't win. Okay, he shot 25% and they won the game in game 6. This narrative is that if your field goal percentage is low and you can't, it's your fault that your team's not playing well. But both times they won. Kobe 25% and they won the championship. Michael Jordan 26% and they won the championship. So this field goal percentage garbage you've been saying, both of you guys, is just not consistent.
Sure, it is. It's way consistent.
I know. It's not consistent.
Not consistent. Like, what's one thing that's been inconsistent about it? You haven't named one thing. We've said multiple times that the players we talked about have underperformed. You're the one scapegoating for LeBron James, not us.
I'm
Hey, I
scapegoating
got Jordan.
because
I got
I
Jordan as
said
the
LeBron James had 32 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and they won the game. But you're saying because of his field goal percentage and his turnovers, he didn't play
Right.
well. But
That's
these
correct.
other guys
Yep.
won the game, shot worse, had less points, and they played relatively well. That's all.
Shot
No,
worse.
no.
Who shot
Again,
worse?
That's
no,
all
he's
I'm saying.
talking about me when I said Jordan played relatively
all I'm
well in
saying.
Game 6, and I already admitted that I made an error. I mixed up Game 5 with Game 6, so he
Anyway.
did not play. He did not play well in Game 6. He went 5 of 19. He did not play well, and his team was able to pull it out for him.
Yep.
You see how that works, B. Lee? And I think Jordan is the GOAT. But I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not talking about, well, he led in this statistical category. You see how consistent I'm being across the board?
He didn't leave
He was
in any
horrible.
category. That's the problem.
I know, and I'm saying
He did. That's a fact.
I'm being consistent in what I value, right? If you go 5 of 19 when you're the alpha dog, and we're looking for you to carry the load scoring wise, I don't give a damn about you getting some rebound. Okay, that's great, and you play. That stuff is valuable. But if I'm a judge in that game and I'm grading that game, I'm giving you a C at best. If you go 5 of 19, that's just how I see the game. Same thing in that Heat series. He shot like 35% in that Heat series. That's horrible. I don't care that they won because the Heat sucked. And you know what I'm saying? They were great, they were a great defensive team and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they were able to win the series. 35% from Jordan, that's horrible. That's how I see the game. And I'm being consistent across the board. Whether it's Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Wade, whoever. If you're shooting 35% and you turning rocks over on top of that's terrible.
It's true. It's facts. Big facts.
But yeah, man. It's
so wait,
been
who got
fun,
the
guys.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm outta
Mar.
here, man.
All right, Pete. Have a good one, man.
Have a good night, guys.
Hey, so if Mar is still here, Mar, you got the trivia question right. I believe it was Mar.
Yeah, it was.
So Mar, you have to pick the. We might mix it up too. So we're gonna think of some. I'll transfer with the guys here, but Mar, you can
If he
pick
has
the
a topic that we want to talk
Yeah.
about.
If you got a topic, Mar, just go to the Discord and put it in there, and we'll chop it up next week.
Yeah. All right. I had enough yelling at you guys today.
Did y'all even rank Kobe in the top 10?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Kobe for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, Kobe is top 10
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I don't see like we asked people we challenge people to come up with players who might be ahead of him if they put him outside of there, but I don't see how you can't put him top 10.
I think he's better than Shaq.
That's correct. That's incorrect, but
I mean,
why would that be incorrect?
I have him above Shaq.
How was he better than Shaq?
How he was not better than Shaq.
I don't go based off peak, so I'm just saying I don't do that. But
are you just using his totals?
I mean, like I do like sometimes I like some of the advanced metrics, but like I like only win share.
Hold on. It's Ishmael. Travis likes to rank Michael Jordan according to other shooting guards, and that's why he say he's like this great player. But if you rate Kobe to this, that's what you do. Well, so if you rate Kobe compared to other shooting guards and Shaq compared to other centers, Kobe will come out ahead.
Yeah, that sounds like you're being hypocritical, Travis. Come on, you guys.
That's not at all what I do. I've never done that.
You have.
Yeah, you're being hypocritical for sure, bro.
How so?
He's definitely better than Shaq, bro.
How do you have Shaq better than Kobe besides that one Finals MVP?
Because you have to rate.
Is it like just because of Finals MVP?
No,
I mean, no. Kobe has more All NBA teams, more All Defensive teams, more points.
All-Stars.
Yeah, more everything.
You're right. I don't care about All Stars.
Yeah, but more Finals MVP.
Shaq was more consistent offensively for the entirety of his career, except for like the last 2 years of his career.
What?
So from '92 all the way up until 2004,
What
really,
you
or even
mean?
five. What are you talking about?
Bro, how is Shaq more consistent than Kobe in his
Offensively?
own offensively in
Dude,
his
look
own
up his
career?
numbers. He was averaging from the drop, dude. He was averaging like 27 and
Okay, Shaq
and
has 10
27 and
seasons
11 up
averaging
until
25 or more a game, and Kobe
look at
has
okay. Let's look up
1,
Shaq's numbers
2,
here,
3,
okay?
4, 5, 6, 7,
Wait a
8,
second.
9,
Hold on.
10, 11, 12. Well, Shaq has 10 season average over 25,
You
and
know
Kobe
that
has
you know that
12.
Kobe.
So Kobe's more consistent scoring.
Wait a second. Well, consistent. You know that
Yeah,
Kobe offensive win shares is higher than Shaquille O'Neal.
Kobe's
That's
a better
that's a
offensive
total
player.
thing, dude. Of course they are.
It's career, but it's like because what offensive win shares does, it measures each game you played relative to that time.
Yeah, and Shaq has more win shares per 48, dude. Like what it doesn't really prove
That's
anything.
that's not your career. That's per 48. That's a per rating metric. You said
Yeah.
because like based on
Career it depends entirely on your team though, and how often
no,
you
it does
win.
not offensive win shares because offensive win shares only defensive win shares would have some of that. Offensive win shares predicated your efficiency based off your
Yeah.
usage rate that you use. I looked this shit up, bro, so I know what I'm talking about, and it's based on the fact that how
And also,
efficient
this is
you
why
are.
I'm rating Shaq higher, dude, because he was more effective as a player. Look, from
You're not
1993,
addressing
yeah,
what
it
I'm
was.
saying. You're
From
not addressing what
23,
I'm saying. You're
this
not
is it.
addressing
You
what
asked me why I was rating him higher than Kobe. This is my answer. So from 93 all the way up until 2005, he was averaging basically 27 points a game. He led the league in field
That's
goal
it.
percentage 10 times.
This man
Okay?
said led the league in field goal percentage. Like
Percentage,
that
yeah.
really mean that doesn't
What
matter. Like
what are you talking about? Doesn't matter when you. How do you rank players? Like how effective you were, what your team impact is. Shaq was far more
win shares
impactful.
does that for you, for your team. It already
No,
does
it does
that.
not.
Yes, it
Kobe
does.
never moved the needle in like any of his teams, dude. By if you're talking about
What?
offensively, like in 2006,
Win shares does that for you. Offensive win shares does that. It takes your field
doesn't.
goal percentage relative to your teams, how much points that you give to your team towards winning, right? And that's what it
Towards
does.
winning, Shaq
Yes.
again. Then Shaq dominates, and if you look at just win shares per season, he's gonna blow Kobe away. I guarantee you that.
God, you said per
He's
season. All right, bro.
yeah.
Really,
We're gonna
bro.
look at him.
Like Travis, you're supposed to be an advanced metric guy. You said win shares. Like, bro, that don't
You
win
realize
shares.
win shares are cumulative, right?
Yes, I know that win shares is not about per season. It's about it measures every single game that you
Yes,
play
I know. And
according to
again,
okay.
you have
So
a certain
what I'm saying
amount.
is that your point was that you said Shaquille O'Neal had longer stretch of an offensive dominance, right, or offensive impact. That can't be true when Kobe Bryant has had more impactful games or has played more impact in offense than Shaquille O'Neal has, according to offensive win shares, right? And you're an advanced metric guy.
Yeah, but offensive win shares isn't the end all be all to how you.
Oh
I've never
my
said that it
God.
is.
Okay.
See, there's no
Okay, so it's
argument
not.
that Kobe was more effective than Shaquille O'Neal on that end
I
of the
mean, if
floor.
you just want to go about raw numbers, I
Robert, so
mean,
let me ask you.
like
So if you
Kobe
could
is never.
have,
I mean,
you would draft
Shaquille
Kobe
O'Neal has
and
never been the passer Kobe was. Shaquille O'Neal has never been the passer that Kobe was.
why would he be?
Right.
He's a center.
Okay. Right. So we're talking about
So
offensive
Kobe Bryant's
production,
never been the
right?
rebounder that Shaq was. Never been a
You said
block.
offense. You said offense. That's what I heard. And it's like, and I think
It's a
Kobe's a
two-way
better
sport.
defender than Shaq for sure. So it's not even close on that.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
debatable.
it's not debatable. It's like
Shaq finished top 10 in.
when it comes to longevity and career, Kobe is better than Shaquille O'Neal. Impact,
I mean,
awards,
longevity,
lineup.
impact is debatable because I mean, Shaq has the 3 Finals MVPs. Kobe has 2.
We said
I
career.
mean,
We didn't. Oh my God. Billy, bro. Come on, man. Get your
how is
guy, bro. This
Kobe?
is your partner on your show, man. You
How
can't
is
be
Kobe
fair right
Bryant? You're not making an argument for other than you said offensive win shares, but Shaq was more efficient. He had a higher peak than Kobe Bryant.
offensive win shares takes in efficiency. It takes it. It's not really. It takes in efficient. Yeah, it does. It takes in your efficiency based on the possessions of your usage rating. So it is definitely taking your efficiency for your team, and it takes your field goal percentage. That's why Rudy Gobert has a higher offensive win shares than LeBron James because LeBron James has a higher usage rate and it's not as efficient as a player like Rudy Gobert with high field goal percentage and his usage rate is relatively low. So
Yeah,
that
exactly.
so that's what I'm saying is that Kobe Bryant's offensive win shares says a lot about the fact that he's managed to be more impactful on the offensive end.
No, it's also, and like you said, it has a lot to do with your team makeup, how your team does that season, what players are around you. Offensive win shares
No, it
isn't solely
doesn't.
dependent on just one man.
No, it doesn't. It's not an on and off number. It's not like
I
defensive win
I know
shares.
it's not on and off number. It has to do with your team success.
Not
And
really.
that,
I mean,
yeah, it
not
does.
really. It doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It
So if
doesn't
you could,
matter
so Ishmael, you
about.
would say if I said, "Hey Ishmael, I'm going to give you you can draft one of two players. This guy is going to give you a 10-year span where he's averaging 27 points a game, 12 rebounds, and he's shooting 60% from the field. And otherwise, here's a guy who's going to his best shooting season ever is 45%. He's not going to be nearly as impactful defensively by the numbers. Like, who would you draft?
First of all, most people don't even do that. Don't even use field goal percentage anymore, Travis. And you already know this. Okay, they use effective field goal and true shooting percentage because they understand that free throws is taken into account. So it's like if you're going to measure that, and the fact is that to answer your question, if you're talking about like scouting all this stuff, scouts do that. Front offices use true shooting and effective field goal nowadays. They use all the metrics. They don't just use field goal. So it depends, man. And Kobe Bryant was relatively efficient for his time. If you use effective field goal and true shooting, so I would take Kobe Bryant.
Shaq blows him away in effective field goal percentage. The only thing Kobe has on him is true shooting percentage because he hits the occasional three.
It has to be relative to that time, bro. It can't just.
They played at the same time. Shaq's best years were during.
You're
when
talking
Kobe
about
was
from
on
the
the team.
90s. You're talking about from the 90s to the early 2000s. And then Kobe played. That's even a slower pace in the 2000s where Kobe played. The fact that Kobe played in a smaller place says a lot about his impact and his ability to score more points than Shaq. It's true. Is pretty impressive.
I mean, Shaq was also drafted earlier than Kobe, though, and was also playing far more than Kobe was his first 4 years. So I mean, it's kind of a tough
You cherry pick 10 years out of their careers, bro. All I said, the longevity in the career of Kobe Bryant. That's what I said. All right. I don't know about the prime and the peak and stuff. If you want to say that,
longevity,
give it to Shaq.
I mean, it's whatever. But who cares if like Kobe was basically a non-existent like player his last 3 years because of his injury.
Well, it's not just about his 3 years because, like I said, offensive win shares doesn't go based off if you have shitty-ass games. You have to be pretty impactful. It's relative to your league. So it's
he's a top 10 player. Nobody's saying he wasn't, but I'm taking the guy who's
saying that he's better than Shaq. He's better than Shaq. He has his totals, his production is better than Shaq. His impact is better than Shaq from his
impact is not better than Shaq.
Yes, it is. It says that stats. You're a stats person, okay? It says it right there, okay? So his stats is better than Shaq, all right? His impact, his advanced metric, he has more awards and honors than Shaquille O'Neal, okay? Like, what do you want? He also has never had, like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, it's better. Like, he's better. And it's like, just people pick Shaq's peak just because of his finals MVPs. That's pretty much really it. And just because, like, people... Matter of fact, Kobe, it's a lot harder for Kobe because Kobe didn't get the opportunity and privilege to be able to play with illegal defense. Shaq was just a big dude bumping people down. And then until he got to the Miami Heat in 2006 NBA Finals, you saw when they put that zone defense on him, they covered his ass. They fronted him because he couldn't do nothing. It wasn't just one-on-one, and they had to convert to the double team. Bro, Kobe Bryant is better than Shaquille O'Neal, bro. More awards, more honors, more impact statistically. He's more productive. He's a better player, bro.
He's not more productive. Like, he blows, like, if we're talking about totals,
he got more numbers than him. He has more numbers. That's your production. That's what you've done on the court. Like, what else do you need?
Shaq's prime and peak clears Kobe Bryant.
Okay, his peak. I don't know about the prime thing. I don't measure that. I go based on, like I said, longevity aspect, the career, the totality of what you've done.
That doesn't mean anything when you're talking about total numbers. It doesn't tell me anything about a player. The only time that this is going to be even relatively close to like winning that argument is with LeBron.
It tells you what you've done for your team. That's what it boils down to.
No,
And
because
it's
it's just interesting because if a casual just pulls up Kobe Bryant's stats, right, and he's like without knowing anything, and he's gonna be like, wow, Kobe was trash his last 3 years. And we know there was context because that's not a reflective of who he was as a player. It
He
doesn't tell
was
us anything
trash
about
the
him.
last 3 years. So what else am I going to say? But it don't matter because I said the career. I didn't say the last 3 years. I said
Yes, and his career, the only part of his career that we care about when we're ranking him,
he
Smil,
was a
is
serviceable player. It don't matter. Your
there was
career does not
basically
mean
7 years of his or 6 years of his career that we don't care about. You can't say that about Shaq.
you
Maybe
can
two
care about
years.
his career. He played. You don't get to decide to cut off somebody's career just because they weren't at the
I'm not
highest.
cutting it off. I'm saying I don't judge Kobe based upon as a player based upon what he
It
didn't
don't
produce
matter
when
what
he was
you
injured and
judge.
not
It's what
starting.
it is. It's not about what you
Okay,
judge.
can I chime in, gentlemen? Because I have seen you guys go back and forth about this a little bit. I'm on the Kobe side because I think it's disingenuous to compare shooting percentages when one is a center and one is a shooting guard with a high volume
I'm not
and
even
has
saying
the
that.
range and shot variety all over the court, right? So if you compare Kobe to like all the high volume shooting guards of his era, he's either the most efficient or among the most efficient, especially with the high volume. Another thing that the stats won't tell you is all the multiple times from the early 2000s where Kobe had to be dialed back offensively because Phil Jackson told him, "Oh, we're going to lose the big fella. He's not as dialed in. He is basically the what's the word? The morale is down with Shaq. You need to tone it down." When Kobe would go on 40, 45 straight point per game tears, right? And then when you go per position, like Kobe blows him away defensively. Kobe was a way better defensive player at his position than Shaq ever was. Um, plus,
That's
like I
debatable.
said, Kobe had higher highs and his lows weren't as low, right?
False.
Like no, that's true. As soon as Kobe's a starter, I mean, if you're counting like him off the bench, that's kind of like
See,
nasty
Ishmael,
work. But
that's exactly what I said. Ishmael disagrees with you.
what you Ishmael, you think Shaq or you think Kobe had lower lows than Shaq? I disagree with that.
I don't
No,
know what
West
that
Coast. He
means.
says that he
I
said
don't know what that means because like joined a bunch of teams. He was not really effective. He was missing a bunch of games, even for the
so.
Lakers. So it's like I don't know what you mean by the lows.
West Coast. What I said
And
was that when I judge Kobe, I don't say, oh hey, Kobe was garbage with no context like for his first 3 years when he didn't start or like when he was injured. I said I look at the man, what he was producing when he was actually starting, when he was getting the minutes, when he was getting the shots, and he was fantastic and
Right.
during his peak and prime. That's what I use. And Israel says, no, you should take everything into account. But like when you're considering like longevity, but those things do not tell me anything about Kobe other than like things that are taken out of context. You have to look at a player's best peak and prime. That tells you, and like awards during that area, or that tells you exactly what you need to know about players that you're ranking.
Yeah, I would say Ishmael. When it comes to Kobe, you kind of do have to nitpick because he came off the
no,
bench at the beginning, and then
I
at
don't
the
have to
end,
nitpick. But nobody has to you're nitpick. You want to nitpick because it just makes you feel a certain type of way about players.
no. That's not true. Because hold on, I didn't get to finish why. Hold on, I didn't get to finish
Your
why.
point is
So
irrelevant
with
to me. It doesn't matter. You can save your explanation. I'm not going to
okay, no, so then that's fine. I'm not gonna try to change your mind then. Just let me get this off. The point
Okay.
is that with Kobe, okay, so with Kobe, it's like again, it's different because the tail end of his career, he became a shell of himself due to injury, and at the very beginning, he was on the bench, not even due to his own like he had no control over that. That was all because of the coach at the time or the coaching. Just for some reason, they didn't believe in guards coming straight out of high school and just playing, right? So when you take all that into totality, when you take into totality that Kobe had to again dial it back offensively to keep Shaq involved and to keep Shaq's morale up, plus the fact that he peaked higher than Shaq, and then I don't know how much weight you guys put into this, but I personally put weight into it. Shaq made 3 straight finals with Kobe, which is a top 75 player, and Kobe made 3 straight finals without Shaq, without a top 75 player. So again, like to me, the dynamic there kind of shows you that like Kobe didn't need as much around him to go further in the playoffs and to have success in the playoffs as opposed to Shaq. Shaq, even when he had more well-rounded teams, right? Because Kobe had pretty shitty teams post Shaq. Shaq was getting swept in the playoffs like pretty much almost every year in Orlando. and it's not like he had like a lackluster supporting cast either. Like Shaq is a very big underachiever when it comes to his playoffs and like what he did there.
I mean, I'll agree to disagree with you on that because, like I said, Shaq just came up against some like incredible teams, but like he went to the finals like his second year, third year,
His
and
second year,
like
yeah.
you're talking about like one of the most consistent offensive centers of all time. I mean, I don't disagree with you that Kobe may have done a little bit more with less. I mean, a couple of years, like from '09 to
Yeah.
10. But I mean,
Yeah, and that
also
matters
like
to me
Shaq,
personally.
but Kobe was also unequivocally the second fiddle for the three-peat. Like, if you want to talk about a couple of series where he was better than
Uh,
Shaq, I won't argue with you there. But I mean, he was
uh
as good as Shaq in '01 for three up until the finals. But
yeah,
Shaq in
because he got injured
2000,
by Jalen Rose. Yeah.
sure, yeah, I agree with you. And Shaq though had one of the best series or one of the best seasons of all time though in 2000. That alone puts him in like ahead of Kobe for me.
I
And
just
then
so if we do fix it a little bit on the three-peat years, I would argue that without a doubt, Shaq was better the first title run, right? Because that's when Kobe was barely putting in the work, putting in the production, and showing us where he could go, or what he could become. Um,
Mhm.
but I would argue after the first ring, it became quite literally like a coin flip. Like it became a coin flip, and for the most part, especially in the West, Kobe was better. It wasn't until the East where Shaq could go feast on these very underwhelming centers. But when it came to the Western Conference, where the teams were very well put together defensively, and they
Mhm.
had a better interior presence, like the Spurs, Kobe was barbecuing them way worse than Shaq was.
Oh, I agree with that.
Um,
Kobe was definitely the best player against the Spurs, but then we get to the finals where he was facing DPOY Mutombo. Shaq was also way better than Kobe. 33 points a game
Right,
on
that one I
60%
do agree
shooting.
with.
Kobe took 20. Kobe was no slouch. He went 24% or 24 points a game on 41% shooting, but Shaq was shooting almost 20% better from the field. I get he's a center, sure, but also 16 rebounds, 5 assists, almost 4 blocks a game. Like, there's no argument for Kobe being better or deserving Finals MVP, but Kobe was
Plus,
definitely better versus the Spurs, maybe the Kings too.
I would argue also that in those what was it 2 seasons post Shaq pre Powell, I don't think Shaq ever had a roster that terrible, and Kobe peaked really high. Like Kobe has the highest scoring average in a season for a player since Will Chamberlain, when they also made the defensive first team. He has a higher scoring average than Jordan did in like the '80s when he also made defensive first team.
Yeah,
He has
Kobe
the
was also
highest
taking like
average.
20 shots a game.
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, so here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. But if you go and look at all the games where Kobe exploded and had high scoring games, those were all on efficient shooting splits.
Yeah, I mean, no, Kobe, like I said, I've never. This is why I have him top 10, is because he was a volume shooting guard in the toughest era of all time defensively, and he was
Oh
relatively
man,
efficient.
I do want to say this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna name my top five all time, and you're gonna like after like the top three. No, I think after the top two, you're gonna be like, wow, your list is so crazy. So I have LeBron. I have LeBron number one. I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number two. And then here's the one that's going to shock you. I have Tim Duncan, number three all time. I have Kobe Bryant, fourth all time. And then I have Michael Jordan, fifth all time.
I mean, that's
And
my
then
top five except for the order. No, I
oh,
mean, I'm
really?
sorry, no, I have no, Kobe's not. I'm sorry, no, Kobe's not my top five. I think it goes. I don't hate that top five except for Kobe in it, but I have Mike, Kareem. I'm sorry, Mike, LeBron, Kareem, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem.
And then I'm not going to lie to you. I probably don't have Shaq top 10. Like I have him right outside,
Mhm.
but it's because the players that I have above him, I just don't think they didn't have the lows, and they also didn't have that one gigantic offensive flaw like Shaq did, his free throw shooting, as well as also Shaq for an all-time center is one of the more underwhelming defensively. So like okay, the other five I don't want to give them an order because I go back and forth with how I rank them, but I put like Garnett to me is high. I have like Dirk high. I have I would argue I have Magic in there. I have so that's already three, and then I have like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant,
Like Dirk's in your
like to
top
round
10.
out. Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
because I do value like longevity, and I think that Dirk is one of the best longevity arguments of all time.
Well, this is what I've always said. I know as long as you have a criteria, I don't actually take anyone's top 10 and make fun of it, or I might disagree with it, but I'll never ever knock it because all that I ask is that you have a criteria when you're ranking players. And to me, I don't really care who you have up there as long as it's consistent.
Yeah, that
So I
well,
mean,
that's where I did want to address the consistent part because okay, so the more I've thought about it, for the most part, unless you do something like you guys in GJK where you guys have this like dope formula where you guys have gone and put all the thought and like effort into, because I haven't done that yet. I've gone back and thought about the fact that some players, what makes certain players great or greater than others isn't a fair criteria to judge others. Like, for example, what makes LeBron so great is like in my opinion, the greatest stretch of longevity, efficiency, and durability. But I can't use that as a knock against Magic because Magic didn't play that long. Do you get what I'm saying?
oh, Magic's not even top 50. He's garbage.
But yeah, I like I can't knock a player, and it made me really have to go back and think about it because before I was kind of knocking Magic due to the lack of longevity, but it made me go, okay, just because player A is great due to this reason doesn't mean I should knock player B or C if they don't have that same reason. For
Oh,
example,
dude, I completely agree
even
with you.
though
That's exactly why I have Jordan over Kareem because Jordan has four more Finals MVPs than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so he's far better on his their MVPs. Obviously, he has one more, but I think he had a just as good of a pre and prime as Kareem. I think he was more impactful analytically, and I think he was better. The Finals MVPs are huge for me, but he had especially if you
okay,
consistently get them. So he has four more than Kareem. That's why I have LeBron over Kareem too. Was because the peak and prime measures up. I think he was. LeBron in his peak was a top three two-way player of all time, maybe top five. And obviously, he has the four Finals MVPs as well, so that's huge to me. There's only like three players who have four more uh, MVPs and Finals MVPs, right? So like that's rarefied air. So
oh, so
it's tough.
T, I did have a question. So I believe you have Jordan as the GOAT. And you're not one of these like bozos that comes on here and doesn't know how to argue it. I just would like to hear how you would argue Jordan as the GOAT because before I let you go real quick, in my opinion, the longer the time goes by and the more you look into the details and the nuances of what made
Mhm.
him great, in my opinion, it
Mhm.
starts to age like milk.
Yeah,
In my
no, I
opinion,
get that.
right? But go ahead. I do want to hear how or why you would argue Jordan is the GOAT.
No, I get that, and then like it's there's I think there's certain things like nobody's player, but here's how that I argue and always have is that it's about having the most balanced resume of all time. So for me, Jordan clears, especially if you're looking at both sides of the ball. So Jordan has he's a top 10 scorer of all time because he's one of only 10 players of in league history who's led his team in scoring at a 50% or better clip for at least 10 years. He's tied with nine first team all defensive selections with, I think, two other people. He has five MVPs, which only three other players have that or more. He has six finals MVPs, which is the most. He has analytically, as far as balanced analytically, he's second only to Joker all time when you're talking about basically being excellent across the board. And then when you take all that into consideration, obviously he has the seasonal titles, but I really play. I put actually no importance at all on scoring titles because that's really just doesn't tell me really anything about the player. But when you take just a balanced look at the resume, unless you're just talking about what you don't like about the player, if you have a criteria that includes things like the major accolades, how great they were on both sides of the ball, I don't really care about totals because, like you said, it's indicative of it can indicative of how long you play. Are you healthy? Things sometimes out of your control. I just think that Jordan has the most balanced resume of all time. If you're talking about offense and defense and major accolades, especially combined with 11 major MVPs, again, that's unheard of.
Okay, and then do you have LeBron second or is he lower?
LeBron is second.
Okay. So the reason why I have I don't know if you remember, the reason why I have Duncan so high is because Duncan's claim to greatness, in my opinion, was the fact that he has the greatest defensive longevity of all time, and that's one of
Where do
the
you have
rarest
Duncan?
things in NBA history. Third, behind
Third.
Kareem and LeBron.
I have Duncan fourth.
I have Duncan fifth.
I
We
have
all have
Duncan
Duncan
third
high.
because
Yeah, we all have him high.
Duncan's because I think most people just don't take into account that not only is longevity extremely rare, especially the better the longevity is, but defensively it becomes rarer and rarer the more you look at all-time greats. So Duncan has the most defensive selections overall, not just first teams, but just overall with I think 15. That's unheard
Yeah.
of. I don't think, especially moving forward, the way the NBA is, that's ever going to get tied or broken. In my opinion,
Duncan
it would.
has like the second highest impact on defense over a pretty long period of time, other than Bill Russell
Yeah,
too. Like Duncan was arguably a top 2 or 3 defender of all time. I mean, maybe the best. It just like depends how you look at it.
That was my
yeah. So
number one pick for center.
hey, that is a good pick for a center.
Beasley
So
was
okay, that's the
cheating.
thing.
Number one.
No. So that's the thing is, even though people call him the greatest power forward of all time, he played most of his ball at center. If you actually look at where he played ball, like on the court.
Yeah.
And then I'm like really, I'm solidified on my top three all time. But when it comes to like 4 through like 10, 15, 17, I flip them a lot. And it, like I said, it just depends on mentally what I'm thinking, what do I value? Because again, what I value kind of gets washed because, like I said, certain players didn't play as long, and what made them great isn't what makes another player great. Like what makes Bird great isn't what made like Shaq great. So it's
Well, I
like it's
agree.
kind of hard.
What if I
So
tell you I'm
that's
going
why.
to replace Kobe with Kevin Durant in a couple of years?
Oh, dude. Okay, so here's the thing. Like I said, I have Curry and Kevin Durant in my top 10. I think Kevin Durant is the greatest scorer of all time, in my opinion. I'll
He's the
stand
best
on
scorer
that.
of all time.
Yeah, like his shot where he can shoot from, his efficiency, his peaks there, his consistency there, and then of course like he's probably gonna have the best like longevity by a scorer like of all time.
Yeah. I
Not
think
in
like
terms of not in terms of totals, but in terms of like the efficiency in the shot selection and how it ages like wine.
Well, I think what's goes that I think you've made a lot of good points, and we're all in agreement that Kobe is fringe. I mean, at the worst, I would have Kobe at 11, but I have him at 10 right now. But I think we've all made our point. But we're probably gonna get off here. But look out for Mar. If he's still here, again, just go on the Discord. Give us the topic that you want us to tackle next week. And that was a great question out of B. Lee. That was a fantastic question. Like, took us forever to get it. So,
Yeah, just real quick before you guys take off, I did want to say if you guys could make a post on YouTube or put it out somewhere where we can see it as the members or whatnot, what the criteria for like how you guys grade LeBron as the GOAT and then how everyone else would like get help. Because if I
yeah, they
recall
have it. They have
correctly,
it up there, right, B. Lee?
yeah, I think so.
Pretty
Not
sure.
yeah. Now that I think about it, I think it's on YouTube. But so if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, you
We
guys
had a few
do it in
shows
a
about
very
Yeah. So what we do, we take everyone's
yeah. I was
accomplishment
gonna say
and
you
we basically compare them to them all, and we give
right.
them a number. And LeBron is like so far ahead of everybody.
Right, but I believe that number that you guys, yeah, that number that you guys come up with is very like it's original, but it's also it's also very objective. Excuse me, because you guys will hold like a 10 to be like Bill Russell's ring count because that's the highest, right? And then like a 6 for like league MVP as like a 10, right? Because that's like the
Yeah.
most. Yeah, so I do like that. I do like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't really argue with it.
But yeah, oh yeah, hold on. And before I get out of here, I don't know if you guys have seen me talk to Johnny about this. I'm sold that this year the Lakers are winning the chip.
That's not correct.
Hopefully they win it.
They're not.
They just got to buckle down defensively in the playoffs. But I think Braun and Luka in the playoffs are gonna become better. So that plus a buckled down defense should be good enough.
Lakers are getting exposed as fuck. Like they beat a terrible Memphis team just now.
They're
What was that
terrible.
defense? They allowed like 127 points.
How's
No.
Memphis terrible?
I don't think Memphis is terrible. I think they're mid.
Well, Lakers sure beat
I
them tonight,
mean,
but I think
last
Lakers are
week
going to lose the
they
next
were
3 games.
number 2 in the West.
Yeah,
Lakers
that's what I was
are
gonna
lose
say.
like the
Like,
next.
if you
Lakers
look,
might
no,
be
no.
the
So
Pelicans.
here's what makes me very optimistic going into the playoffs. The Lakers have a winning record against the Western Conference. They just struggle against the East for some reason.
Well, they're going to
But
lose
that
both
doesn't
their
bother
games
me.
against. They're going to lose against Thunder. They're going to lose. There might be the Pelicans. They're going to lose against. Who else they're
Might.
playing?
It's crazy.
No, against. Yeah, they're going to get slaughtered unless the Thunder are just resting everyone, which they might do. But who knows?
But yeah, I definitely appreciated the discourse, giving you guys my insight on why I grade or why I have graded certain players so high, and where you guys have Kobe. Because look, so long, in my opinion, so long as you don't have Kobe outside of the top 10, I don't think you're being disingenuous. Again, it's all opinion, but I just think there's too much production. The highs were so high to like have him outside of the top 10. Like it's a weird case for me, but.
We need you to debate Twin Man at some
He's
point.
better
here,
than
West
Shaq.
Coast.
That's all I know. He's better than Shaq.
Yeah, I do agree. He is better than Shaq.
Where's
I
Twin
do
Man at
agree
when
with
we need
that.
him?
Even Shaq will agree with that.
All right, guys. It's getting late. We've been on for over almost 3.5 hours. So we're going ahead and end this live.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
y'all have
thanks
a good
everybody
night.
for coming. So everybody have a good night.
Appreciate
got any
it.
last words before we get off, Travis?
No. Thanks for coming in, guys. Great show. We covered a lot of topics and we had some fiery debates. Always appreciated. And obviously, we'll do it bright and early tomorrow.
All right.